Hello and welcome to Nintendo Voice, your voice for everything Nintendo. This is episode 140, being recorded on the 23rd of May 2018. My name's Lewis Pugh, and joining me to talk all things Nintendo, we have Harrison Milfeld.
Hey, that's me.
Colin Crompton.
Yeah, that's me.
And special guest, we have Holly Fellmeth.
Hey, been a while.
Yeah, it's been a little while.
Holly!
So I think, a very quick summary of what the show's going to be. We've got some what we've been playing for you. We've got the Nintendo news. And we do have a feature for this week, which is our top 3DS games, our top 10s. We're all going to go through our own lists. However, we do have a special guest today. So just in case you're not aware, Holly, who are you and why are you on our show?
Who are you? Who is that and what does he do?
Why am I here? Because,
Have you met before?
Yeah, we've never talked before. Never.
Oh, this has got a bit creepy. I'm sorry. We've had a bit of a podcasting history. The four of us here. So
good times.
I don't want to speak for you, but yeah, we have met in the Infendo days. But have you been up to much in the Nintendo world since that people may be aware of or not?
Well, I did work on the Nintendo Fever podcast. That's kind of where I went after, but I actually haven't been working on that for a long time either. So, I mean, it's been a long time and a lot has happened. Too much to mention. But I'm getting back into the mix. So, including with Nintendo Fever. So, I hope to chat with you guys, chat with the listeners a lot more, and just talk Nintendo. Let's do it.
That and apparently exploring every nook and cranny of Breath of the Wild. It seems like every time on Twitter I see it's always this list of this new video. I'm like, just there's no stopping after this game.
Yep, follow me for awesome Breath of the Wild goofiness.
Yeah, I feel our clocks on Breath of the Wild are similar. I could be wrong. I've not seen yours in a little while, but I feel that they're still growing at a steady pace.
Yeah, mine's not even accurate. I actually have like 3 different user profiles that I use for save files on Breath of the Wild. And
I walked into this one.
So, just know it's not accurate.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Good to know. Okay, so let's jump into some what we've been playing, and as our special guest, Holly. I'll try not to call you special guest too much. What have you been up? What have you been playing?
Well, something fairly new. I've been playing Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. So, kind of new, but not new game. I feel like we talked about this back when it came on Wii U, especially with Colin. Colin, you were a big fan of that one, weren't you?
Oh, yeah, it's amazing on Wii U. Absolutely. I've not picked up the Switch version yet, but I'm guessing they're pretty similar.
Yeah.
So how does it compare the Wii U version to the Switch version overall?
It's been a while since I played the Wii U version, but I believe the Switch version added an ability to change characters like at will. So that's really nice. You can change really easily by just hitting up and down on your D-pad.
Sweet.
So that's a good change. I mean, everything is there. There's a ton of characters unlocked right from the start. So
that's good.
I don't remember much about the Wii U game, so I don't know who was unlocked right at the beginning of the Wii U version. But
I'm trying to remember myself. Yeah, I don't think there's many at the start. It's quite limited because you have to go through the legend mode to actually unlock them.
Yeah. It feels like we're getting to the point right now, like trying to remember things from the Wii U era games, and we're just thinking, like, going, like, did that actually happen? Did that actually happen?
Not that long ago, people. It's the last generation.
I know.
Generation that didn't really happen. It was just a dream. All that podcasting we did on the Wii U.
Oh, absolutely. It was nothing.
Yeah, it never happened. So, not a whole lot different, let's be honest, with this version. And I haven't actually gotten far enough in it, I guess, to see a lot of the other differences. Like, I'm not sure how you unlock the Breath of the Wild costumes, which are, of course, new for this version. So I haven't even seen those yet.
I think
it's just Hyrule Warriors again.
Yeah, just to jump in a little, because I've also been playing a little bit of Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition. I think the Breath of the Wild outfits are either actually unlocked from the get-go or very shortly after Adventure Mode. or into adventure mode. Because I remember just playing around with it, going, "Oh, they're here" at some point, and I hadn't spent that much time in it then. But yeah, I was also surprised with how many characters are available from the get go, because I was playing it co-op, and the first player one is limited to just who you would expect for that mission, but player two, huge cast of characters, including like Ganondorf, right from the beginning.
Okay.
Exactly.
That's the most powerful character.
Yeah, player one can't be him, but player two, choose your pick. You can
you hit on the fact that you've done co-op.
Yes.
Is the performance drop still there? I remember that being a slight issue on the Wii U version, that there was it went from like 60 frames to 30 or whatever.
Oh, it was worse than 30.
Was it worse than 30?
The Wii U version did it was TV and gamepad, wasn't it?
Exactly, yes.
So we've got more traditional split screen now.
Okay.
And performance is good. I'm not sure the actual numbers, but it's smooth.
There is a noticeable difference, I think, as far as like resolution wise. So that's at least a plus. So
yeah, and in terms of just standard play, in terms of the resolution and the frame rate for just single player, I'm surprised with how much better it looks than the Wii U game. Just because there isn't really that much age difference, and there's not even that much power difference in my opinion, between a Wii U and a Switch. But yeah, it's a much better looking version of that game, much better performing as well.
How's co-op mode in tabletop mode though?
Oh, I've not tried it in tabletop mode yet.
Because everyone's going to want to play that way,
Exactly,
on that tiny screen.
I mean, to be fair, there's probably people doing it. I mean, at least it's kind of mindless when it needs to be.
Yeah.
Like, I could see, like, replaying stages or going through, like, certain adventure mode stuff. And, you could do that tabletop. But I don't think anything new. I don't think you would actually want to do anything too challenging like that.
I got to try that out myself then.
So, Holly, anything else you've been playing, or has it mostly been Hyrule Warriors recently?
Well, Breath of the Wild, as usual.
Of course.
And a little bit of Splatoon, as you know. So,
okay. Maybe because yes, they did. However, you caught me there. I was going to say we'll save that for the news. But the news is out there. It's fine. Yeah, we played some other Splatfest together.
Yeah,
and
we actually we lost most of our matches, didn't we? It didn't go that great.
What were your allegiances in the tournament?
Donnie for
all
of them for the whole tournament.
Oh, you guys were the whole time. Okay, gotcha. I was thinking but anyway, go on. I would say I interrupted there for a bit. So,
well, I was Leo, followed by Donnie again. So, and then Lewis and I actually teamed up for the final Donnie matchup.
That's right. Yeah, although we oddly weren't performing too well as a team in terms of the win to loss ratio. But good matches were had.
2 veterans by now. What's going on?
Well, I've got many excuses.
Oh, here we go.
And they are excuses. Don't get me wrong.
Okay, all right.
One, don't actually play much Turf War normally.
Oh,
I'm a ranked man here and out. Only time I play Turf War is during Splatfests.
Okay. The game's basically the same though.
No, very different. It feels like different games. I feel the different modes.
Well, I'm not based for Zoom, so I can't really.
Exactly, especially when you've been playing some clan blitz and so on. It's very different strategies and weapons you need jumping back and forth.
Oh, there you go.
That's all they are.
Yeah.
So I think that's. Feel free to jump in if there's more you've been up to. But Colin, you've not been around a couple of episodes.
Well, yeah, true.
Yep, true. In spirit, you have been, but you've not actually been on the show.
I've not been here.
No,
physically here. I've not been playing too much. I hate to break it to people, but
were you just sitting waiting for your laptop? That's why.
I thought you'd be playing more things.
No, but with the recent Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate announcement, which I know people don't want to get me too much into, but thank all the heavens that it's actually been announced on Switch. I've been diving into the 3DS game, basically, because you can take your 3DS game into the Switch game. So I started fresh on the 3DS. I was like, okay, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take it as a fresh opportunity to start a whole new game, new slate, and just play the game through. So when the Switch version finally arrives, I can go straight into the new content of the game. So that's pretty much what I'm playing. Monster Hunter.
Very quick question to jump in on.
Go for it.
Has playing a lot of Monster Hunter Generations altered your top 10 list as you were making it?
No.
Oh,
No,
okay. No more info needed for now. Okay.
Okay, interesting.
So yeah, was it like jumping back into it? Because I assume you spent a fair. I'm just assuming you spent a few hundred hours into it originally.
Yes. Originally, I spent. It was coming close to 1,000
on Generations.
On Generations. So I started fresh on it. It's okay, though. Don't panic too much. Yeah. So I started fresh on it. Yeah. No. It still. It feels solid as a 3DS game. I'm very intrigued to how it feels on Switch. Control-wise, because the circle pad's fine for the most part, but it's no joystick. It's no analog-stick. Analog-stick is, I feel, more vital, which is why I enjoy 3 Ultimate on Wii U. So I'm excited to try out on Switch. But
because from the footage I've seen, it's a good-looking version, the Switch version.
I mean,
just how does it feel? Does it still click the same way?
You say it looks good. I mean, obviously the attention's on the monsters and not the backgrounds or the environments. It's basically the same as the Wii U version, the HD version. The monsters look amazing, but the environment still looks like from the Wii era, basically. It's what they were.
Very pixelated.
Yeah, just kind of like you could tell they didn't focus too much attention on them. And I feel like Generations Ultimate's going to be the same thing, which I'm completely fine with because it's all about the monsters and the action. As long as the game runs smoothly, that's all I asked for Monster Hunter, really. But yeah, very intrigued about the Switch version. So yeah, that's all I've been doing. It's just like plugging away at Generations just to get in. Just gonna get to extra content when the Switch version comes out. So nothing really to report.
So we gotta play. We gotta play together sometime. I've been getting into it too.
It's been too long since we hunted.
Yeah.
So
we hunted so much back in the day, didn't we?
I remember. Yeah, I remember our hunts. So you're essentially set for the fall. It seems like, Colin, with the.
I'm set for like the next 3 years. What are you talking about? Great. 3,000 hours. Here we go.
Jeez, that's just
reason they call it Generations.
Generations of fun, generations of time basically wasted in the real life. Not the same wasted as in you're not having fun, but yes, you get my point.
I get your point. Yes.
Awesome. Well, this is usually where I'd probably insert my opinions about games I've played, but I've kind of covered in very broad strokes what I've been playing, which is basically Hyrule Warriors and more Splatoon. There's another Party Crash next weekend, or this weekend coming up, but it's not happened yet, so I can't talk about ARMS. Harrison.
Yeah.
You're last up.
I'm last up to
talk about the games you've been playing.
I shall talk about games that I've played, I think. Maybe.
Okay, that's the choice you've taken.
Ooh, the games I've been playing me.
Yeah, or they could be that ways too. But no, I've been finally playing a game that I missed out on in January. Got a lot of buzz for the Switch, and one that I finally sat down to play, and that is Celeste. And long short of it, I love it. I really, really love it. And I know that Lewis had talked at length about Celeste when it initially came out, but to me, it's the type of platformer that I really, as difficult as it is, it allows you to jump back in so easily and just kind of keep going. I mean, it respects your own time, and knowing that basically the game's not cheap in any way. It's like, when you mess up, when you die or mess up or miss a platform, it's your fault. Everything's so intricately just designed around these things. And to me, I feel like it's truly difficult when you're trying to go full completionist mode, when you're trying to collect, all the little strawberries littered around. The ones that I hate the most, though, are the ones with the wings, where you cannot use main character's Madeline's little speed boot, dash ability that is basically your primary use of jumping. And those things will fly away because it's asking you have to get to that strawberry essentially without using that special move. So, and again, this is the whole gist of the whole thing to me, is that I'm finding new ways to just, like to hone my own platforming skills in this. And I feel like the game like Celeste is just, it almost you feel like tailor made for me or any people that really love this genre. And I just can't get enough of it so much. I mean, I haven't beat it yet, but it's because I have a game for review for Pure Nintendo that just finally came in, and I got to put that to aside for a little bit. So, I mean, but I'm liking it. And also I like the little side characters to it. Who is it? Like, there's a character named Theo in here, and one little line I like in him is when he's first introduction, he talks about where he's from. And he says, like, Madeline says, "So where are you from?" "Oh, me? I'm from this really magical place." And she asks, like, "Where's that?" "Seattle." I was like, oh. So little bits of humor on there that I really like that are just really on the nod, but just enough to me. And plus, for a simple, like, pixelated, like, type of, like, a platformer, it's even so simple, it's still oozing with charm.
Yeah. Well, what I got from this so far is Harrison thinks that Seattle was not a magical place.
No, I do think Seattle is the Emerald City. Of course, it's a magical place.
Oh,
The last thing he was expecting to hear.
No, I was expecting like magical place, like I don't know, like Des Moines, maybe Des Moines, or I don't know, Little Rock. I mean, something where you're just like, I didn't really think that was magical. No offense to our, no offense to our listeners out in those things. I mean, I come from a very small town too. Well, not that they're small towns. It's just. You know what I mean? I'm not disregarding everything. So, but that's what I've been.
From the smallest town ever. 2,000 people.
That's
2,000. Wow, I grew up in a town of 4,000. Wait, but aren't you like really, really far away from like the nearest like Best Buy or like even like you were telling me like a while back when you had to get like some.
We're quite far from Best Buys as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I remember hauling...
we're quite far from Best Buy over here, yeah.
I don't even know where the closest Best Buy to me is. That's how close it is. I don't even know where it is.
Somewhere.
No, I did actually...
Walmart, about an hour away.
Okay, that's, I think, what you mentioned to me. I was like, but speaking of brick and mortar stores, though, I did take a last visit to a Toys R Us. Yes, and man, is it a sad state right now when you just see all the...
fire, or...
No. Just no. You say it's on fire? Yes. I walk into the Toys R Us and just all the.
Just the way you said it's always a sad state.
A pile of Animal Crossing amiibos.
Oh, that's what I bought. No, that's what I bought. I bought a Tom Nook amiibo for 50% off, and it was already $5.
Oh, if it's Nook, fair enough.
But I did. My roommate, he wanted KK Slider, but that was included in the 3-pack with the 2 other Animal Crossing characters. I can't even think of their names.
Probably Reese and that other, like the married couple who make furniture for you.
Yeah, that's them. So I bought that for 50 off, and I gave KK Slider to my my downstairs flatmate. And my original plan was going to be, he has a Tom Nook, and I was going to give him a little KK Slider. And I was going to basically take those 2 other amiibo and hide them around the house because he didn't want those. He's like, I just want KK Slider. I don't want these 2 other things that I don't want. And I was just going to hide them in their house because I dog sit for them for sometimes. And I was just going to hide them, like, I don't know, put it in their shower, put it like in a cabinet where it just like jumps out. But
why?
Why?
Just because you could?
I don't know. Just because we're friends. But no, but yeah, I had to pay a visit to my last Toys R Us, and just a place that, I have so many memories with and sad to go. And thus concludes basically a weird segue away from what I've been playing.
You're playing Toys R Us, apparently. There you are.
Yes.
You've been playing nothing but can Lewis remember the name of this game? Let's find out. Animal Crossing
Amiibo Festival.
Amiibo Festival.
The one that no one cares about.
The one which all the amiibos could be useful. Although I guess no. Happy Home Design. Did it just use the cards? Oh, it got so messy.
Yeah, the cards. I think it was the cards.
Maybe used both. It might have used both. Definitely used a lot of cards. Anyway, we're going to jump from some what we've been playing into the Nintendo news. And the first up on the list today, nothing but good news, surely. Resident Evil 7, finally, coming to the Switch. What could go wrong? Let's dig into those details.
Okay. There's a caveat here, yes.
I've got an open mind here. Let's find out. Okay, so number one, Resident Evil 7 is so far exclusive for Japan, the Switch version.
Okay.
Another bullet point here. It's a 30 meg download, and you will be streaming the game via a rental service.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
Oh, that's different, isn't it?
That sounds terrible.
It's strange. It really is strange, because when I went away from Twitter for a while, I think when it was announced over the weekend, and it says talk about Resident Evil 7 Switch, I'm like, what? Really? This is awesome. And then I read through it. I'm like, no. Oh, well, I understand that's a nice little ability to have, like an option to play or something like that, but as the sole reason for really?
It just feels like something that should be part of a whole service as a whole. Like, oh, you can rent games on Switch, not like
I feel
have to.
Oddly, if Capcom came out and said, there are these 6 games you can now stream from us, or 12 or whatever.
Yes. Yeah.
The one on its own does seem odd. A little bit of context. Like, it's not the first time ever we've seen things like this. Dragon Quest X had a 3DS version, as in 10 was the online game, and you could stream that to your 3DS in a similar fashion, and also Phantasy Star Online 2 apparently does a similar thing in Japan on the Switch. So you are streaming that game as well.
I kind of wonder if this is Capcom just testing the waters with this kind of thing.
Well, when you actually remember back when the Switch was in development, Capcom asked Nintendo to up the RAM on, or no, what was it, the RAM, or I think it was the memory, whatever it was.
I heard that recently. I don't remember at the time, but it's been called up recently about this in particular, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm. And to me, this is what's strange, where it's not able to. I understand that you have, like with most Switch games right now, with the cartridge space that we have, and of course, hopefully that's increasing. I believe that's increasing next year. Is that I feel like Capcom. It's like if you're able to, if this console is able to get Doom and even Doom and Wolfenstein and even like working pretty well with the fact of like downgrade to like to frame rate, I think you could get this to work. But again, I may just say like want to try it out, see how this service works. Well, if it comes here, I mean, open mind, but it's just so strange to me. But also, it makes me think, can I just have like Resident Evil 4 again for like the 5th time? I wouldn't mind having that.
I'll take that. I'll take 2 copies. That'd be good.
You mean 2 like total over the entire lifespan of Resident Evil 4? You're not one to buy like
I'll buy
versions of old games, are you?
It's got to be up there like the most consecutively bought versions of a relatively modern game.
I think Skyrim has that up there. Skyrim. I think Skyrim has basically been ported to almost every platform aside from.
I'm getting deja vu. I'm sure we've had this conversation.
I think Matosa's going to be able to play Skyrim,
and I'm sure Resi 4 always wins.
Yeah,
maybe. No, we got to do a feature on that. Basically, we're going to crunch the numbers to figure out what's been ported the most.
Resi 4.
It's Resi 4.
It's Resi 4.
Do we have a behind-the-scenes person who can do that for us, or?
My fact checker is currently out to work right now, so we're. Yes, I do. Actually, no, you do. No, you never. No, you never
That's
knew
a
that.
Patreon tier, that is.
Oh no! No, seriously, no, you didn't realize there's a guy in the back right here who with his little stenographer or whatever, and he's just basically typing away, and he just looks in there and just writes me notes, and I'm like, oh. This is what the MPD says about this sort of out of numbers of these games sold, but
Harrison gets all the information from.
Yeah, he usually sits in my bed over there, just taunting me.
He sits on your bed,
not under my bed, because that would be creepy.
That'd be very creepy.
However, the silent guy just taking notes on your bed, that's fine for your podcast. And another little detail for a little bit of extra context, I guess. I think it just makes it a bit more interesting in itself is the service. You have a kind of 2 options to play this. One is the initial download, and then you get 15 minutes of free play, and then that's it. And then the other option you get, and it's the only other option, is you can pay 2,000 yen, which is roughly about $20. It's just under $20 for a 6-month rental. Now, I don't necessarily think that's a bad value if you had to put a price to this type of service.
Yeah, but at the same time,
right? You're going to have your fill in 6 months.
Yes, But I
$20,
also
that's a
would
good-
like to
that's probably a good
own the
version.
game, so at some point in the future I can come back to it.
Oh, sure, but at this point, then the whole thing you don't like. It's less
Exactly.
than the price. Like, what price would that have to be? I feel it's almost you just
Mm.
wouldn't bother even if it was like £5 or so.
No, I wouldn't.
Is that? Well, there you go. Whereas I feel like if you were like interested idea, I feel actually, if I've got a good internet connection,
Yeah.
I could spend if it was available $20, £20, whatever the equivalent is,
Mhm.
and that's like a third of the price of what that game regularly is. So maybe they could possibly. I'm trying to be positive here. The positive spin.
I feel like Capcom has
If you
somehow
took better
brainwashed you into trying to sell it to us.
As an option, like you could get the physical release, or you could
I'll take that as a yes.
rent the other version for a third of the price. I might go for the rentals.
No! It's a game! You buy it, you pay for it, it's yours. No.
I mean, think of it this way, Colin. I mean, okay, I'm kind of almost, I would say, on Lewis's side on this, but again, this is probably a version I may not try out. I mean, like want to own just to beat through. I'd rather have that like on my PS4, for instance, plus it's cheaper. But we rent movies. We do this through Netflix a lot too. You know, via movies. I mean, I know given that movies are a much different, smaller size and service on there. Medium. I understand that. It's just if this was expanded titles and this came to Switch, like, hey, you know, physical or this cloud storage or via streaming, I can get that. And, you know, Nintendo could probably even do that for, who knows, some form of virtual console, which I'm not going to say it's going to happen. But, you know, like if they were to bring their classic games in some way, they could go that route. But here, I think my one problem by going with this is like, there are some certain people with internet connections that have a data cap. So there's that. That's the thing that I see people worry about.
Yeah, and I think not just that, but if you just don't have a particularly good strength of internet, regardless
or
of
if it fluctuates or whatever.
Exactly, from most services like this, you need to be on that top tier of internet connection,
and I just don't feel like
most people aren't.
No, I feel like the infrastructure's not here yet in this current age to support this on a widespread scale. Yeah, it's another one. It's another one.
Yeah.
I'm kind of hoping it doesn't succeed, but that's just me.
Yeah, I've never been on board with the idea of streaming video games at all because, I mean, as if input lag, like, do you guys know about input lag at all?
Yeah.
As if that wasn't a bad enough problem, like having internet lag while you're playing a game, that's a terrible thought.
Oh, no, I mean, I encountered it multiple times. It's just when it comes to any moment where it's just like, oh, wow, I'm enjoying this game, and then it just craps out on you. You're just like, oh, this sucks. And they're like, oh, back to normal. And they're like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, I reckon.
Lots of shrugs going on.
Lots of them.
When the shrugs happen, we jump onto the next item of news. You see, that's how we do things here.
I give him the signal and like shrug. It's like, why is he shrugging? He's telling you to go to the next item.
He's telling me he's bored. Next up,
that is genius. It's better than caca. Caca.
Wait, oh wait, you have people on your podcast who do that to segue? Caca. What?
Okay. Well.
Nope. Just that universal signal.
Oh.
We need to adopt that into our programming. Anyway.
But after. Not sure why I necessarily bring up rival podcasts as such, but I do like how Nintendo does things now. They will have like a timer on their news articles as such, so they don't overrun. It's usually some sort of Nintendo tune, but yeah, it will kick in, and then they just keep talking over it. Always pleasure.
the way of being played off at an award ceremony.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've got some Mario plus Rabbids DLC news.
Yes.
And so we knew about kind of this. We had a trailer way back of Donkey Kong appearing in Mario plus Rabbids. And that was pretty much it, as memory recalls. They didn't really have any dates or any like actual facts or features as such. It's just, Donkey Kong's going to be part of this. And we've got a trailer now. There's also general impressions of people who have played it coming now. So I guess embargoes have listed, or people have just actually got a chance to play it for a little bit. And so the facts that I've heard, at least, and so this DLC is going to be like a 10-hour expansion to the game, set in an entirely new set of locations, in a similar sort of progression style to the main game. So you got like, I think it's 4 new worlds or 5 new worlds.
4 brand new environments, I believe.
4, yeah. And so Donkey Kong himself is your new battle team will be Donkey Kong, a rabid Cranky Kong,
Which is the best.
which is
the design of this one's awesome. I really like.
And then regular Rabid Peach.
Yeah. I guess he's the most memorable character out of the original game, so I think at least the one with the most personality.
Yeah,
I feel.
but they've added a lot of new mechanics and such to Donkey Kong as a character, and so he can pick up items and throw them as part of an action of each turn, including enemies. There are these special tiles where you can travel great distances by swinging from one to the other, and I think your main attack is like a ground pound, so you're quite a short ranged character as such in terms of attacking, but you've got the great momentum options to move around the map. And yeah, it looks, from what I've seen of it, it looks really quite cool. It's pleasantly surprised of how much is there for this, because I'll be honest, my expectations was at this point pretty low. Was gonna, I think I even discussed in this podcast. Oh yeah, I'm sure that Donkey Kong DLC is already out now from Arrow. I didn't hear much about it. Going to be very good, but no, this is
it just disappeared to the wayside. I'm like, I don't think they noticed. Let's just ghost release it.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
But
it looks good.
No, I still feel I still have yet to play Mario plus Rabbids, and I still want to. It's one of those things.
It's so good. It really
is.
Is.
Holly, did you play it at all?
No, I didn't.
Good,
it's funny. Yeah,
it's a strategy game.
It's funny, but also sad that ever since I stopped podcasting, I'm not buying as many games and not playing as big of a variety. I swear the only game that I've been playing for the past year is Breath of the Wild.
Mm-hmm.
I can't seem to recall any others, really. I'm kidding.
It's a good one to get stuck playing, to be fair, though.
Scary.
Yeah. No, that's a good game to get. Yeah, indeed. You just want to get just lost and immersed in. And you can't blame anybody about that. It's really that good.
It sure is.
But now,
I'm actually kind of waiting for, and I think that this has been announced as well, at least for Europe, or at least somewhere in Europe, for a gold edition, a release that basically just has all of the DLC together in one package. I'm kind of actually waiting on that because I figured it would happen.
For Mario and Rabbids, you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was for a second, I thought you were saying Breath of the Wild. I'm like, wait, what? When was this happening?
Well, that would be kind of cool.
Although, yeah, I wouldn't put it out of the realms of possibility for some point in the future. But yeah, I know there's a digital gold version.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about physical, either way.
But that's the thing. They were kind of announcing a physical gold edition somewhere in the world. So
that rings a bell.
It exists somewhere.
Somewhere.
Yeah, because it seems because this isn't the only DLC part of it. This is just the story chunk.
Yep.
Before this, there was extra challenge maps and extra weapons and extra other bits and bobs and such. And so they have been releasing stuff. So this is the final thing of the season pass.
Right.
So if they were to do a gold edition, you get the main game, you get this, and a lot of other bells and whistles and such. So yeah, in terms of just the core package, Mario plus Rabbids, really fun game. Especially if you're already into turn-based strategy games, you might look at it and think, oh, this is a simplification. This will be a breeze. But surprisingly, it's not. Which is really fun, to be challenged to this sort of game and being made to think differently of that sort of strategy game as well. And it kept far my expectations of I'll breach with this. And I was oh no, I really have to think differently. This isn't Fire Emblem. This isn't Advance Wars. This is its own thing.
It's not Fire.
It's strategic. I need to get into the head of it.
This is Mario's and Rabbids, everybody. We're combined. Yeah, the crossover we needed.
Yes.
Oh. So you don't have an avatar character that you can marry off to Luigi Rabbids Luigi, or
not that they've announced yet.
Maybe
a second season DLC could come.
Thank goodness there's no time rift, whatever, in Awakening, whatever, where it's here's their child. I'm like, oh wow, that you look interesting.
Yeah.
That's what the game is missing. I just want to marry Rabbid Luigi off to my avatar.
So
We'll put it on the idea board. There we go. Come on.
So yeah. So when is this Donkey Kong DLC for Rabbids supposed to come out?
Oh, don't ask me the important questions. I just give you the vague details.
The vague details.
I just like things off. Like you give me all these useful links, and I just go off memory of what I've seen on YouTube afterwards. I don't know when it comes out. Do you know when it comes out, Harrison?
From what I've heard, if I'm reading here correctly, it's set to release in the Switch eShop next month in June as part of the game's season pass. So
thank you, Harrison.
Yes, that's why I do the notes, and then sometimes don't check them because
I had it open. I just for some reason because I have my windows like split, it was just off to the side. So I assumed it wasn't there. Oh dear. Our next bit of news, it's a mix. We've got some news and a bit of speculation to go next to it, and so could be a bit could be boring, could be interesting. Nintendo has applied for the N64 trademark, and this is N64, not Nintendo 64. And so, could there be a Nintendo 64 Mini or Classic on the way soon?
I hope not.
Colin, not.
Why do you hope not? I mean, okay. Knowing that I said before,
Colin hates fun.
I don't hate fun. I love fun. Okay, the N64.
Let us have our type of fun.
The N64 is like not a great system overall.
No, I agree with you.
Can we just get that out there?
I agree with you, Colin. I agree with you. Well, okay, there's about 5 or 6 games under that have aged well, but to me, it's not my favorite Nintendo console. So that's my opinion. But this is, I'm not like, okay, we know this is coming because this is going to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems like it's essentially an inevitability. But the fun part about this would probably think about this, like, what games are going to be on there, because we know a bunch of games from Rare aren't going to be able to appear on there.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue. Like the biggest N64 games, some of the best ones were made by Rare, and I don't see Nintendo paying like a licensing fee.
Well,
it depends what the deal is. It might not really cost them much at all, but they've been working with Microsoft recently with Minecraft and
yeah, but I don't see it. I just don't see it happening.
Well, there's Donkey Kong 64. That's a given that will be on there because that's
what a great game that is.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that one. I was not a fan. I don't know. I once put a hypothetical idea of like what this could possibly be, but the one thing I'm thinking, like, okay, this is a console that is built around like party games and a lot of multiplayer. You know, that thing's not going to come with 4 controllers at most.
We're going to have Mario Party 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, but put a Mario Party on at least.
Yeah, but if it doesn't come with 4 controllers, like it has to.
Well, I think I'll predict this.
Oh.
When this comes out, it will come bundled with 2 controllers, and it's going to be a pain to find more controllers. Probably, I will guarantee you that. But
history repeats itself.
Hey, I will. Well, yeah. Hey, I will say though, the Super Nintendo Mini, they've at least increased demand here. I've seen that at least on store shelves occasionally on there. So it's a lot. But no. As far as like a lineup of games that I kind of go in my heads about this, and I mean, it's no surprise Nintendo re-ups like a trademark like this. I mean, they do this in their games all the time, and everybody's like, "Oh, what's the deal with that?" I'm like, well, the reason why they do,
keep rolling that one out there.
It's just to keep it, but also the fact I think I've read online, it's just you don't want games from like these other countries like putting out knockoffs and stuff, and you know if they didn't do that, Nintendo couldn't do anything about it because. But anyway. One person's idea for like if a lineup do something like they do with like Star Fox 2. I mean, I know they could put Sin and Punishment on there, even though we've had that before. But also, there's a couple 64 disc drive games that are English, they're translated to English that they could easily put on there that have never been released. So there's that.
Sophie the Giant.
Yeah, there's that, but I've heard that's mixed things about that.
I didn't say it was good. I'm saying it exists. Yeah.
But you know what? Instead of this first, though, even though you know what I'd want instead? I'd want a Game Boy Classic.
Oh, Game Boy.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying. Little sleek Game Boy.
Yep. But whatever. But I don't know. But no, like you said, Holly, as someone who's a fan of the N64, I mean, if there was one game that you thought that may not be on N64 Mini, what would you hope it was on there?
What would I hope that is on there or not on there?
Well, well, okay, how about both? Is on there and is not on there. Like
it's a pipe dream.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I was thinking like GoldenEye.
Oh, that's a whole spider web of licensing right there.
Yeah, exactly. So, and plus the controller issue. I mean, that's huge.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it'd be so much fun, though.
It would. It's
Have that again.
It's nice to dream, but
it's nice to dream.
The N64.
It is nice to dream.
The N64 is going to be god awful. It's going to be terrible.
Do you reckon we'll get Conkers on there?
No.
Can we have an 18 release for the whole system just because that one game? No?
No.
Think that.
You know what's really funny though? As much as the censoring that was in that first game a little bit, it got censored heavily by Microsoft.
Microsoft, I know. It was like, who would have thought it?
Man, I remember when I was younger and I looked at a Nintendo Power and I saw that like when it first started out as Conker's Conker's Quest. Yeah, I was like, it's Conker's Quest 64 or something like that. I forget the name, but yeah, N64 Mini. Wow.
Yeah, I think for me, like, if they could only get one rare game, so let's just say this: if they could only take one rare game and put it on this thing, for me, it has to be Banjo.
Yeah,
like it has to be Banjo.
What, for you, or just for a successful system?
For a system that's worth getting, Banjo. Because this is a system that didn't have that many great games. Okay, I mean, they had good games. They just aged quite poorly, so they kind of deteriorated a little bit. Obviously, they're going to put the 2 Zelda games on there. If this thing is true, it does exist. They're going to put the 2 Zeldas on there. Super Mario 64.
Mario Party 2.
You just not playing 64 games or what? There's loads of good 64 games.
I'm with Holly. Mario Party 2 is the best out of the Mario Parties.
It is. Absolutely it is. With 4 controllers.
It's also the only one available on the Virtual Console, the one I play the most.
Seriously, Nintendo, when you do your Netflix style virtual, well, not virtual, Netflix style system on your Nintendo Switch Online, when you get to N64 games, one of those Mario Parties better be online.
They'll never do an online Mario Party. It's against like their ethos or something. I don't know.
It's against their ethos. Their ethos. Wow, the name.
That's why our only chance we through that service where it's basically just baked into the emulator, so they don't have to do anything per game by game basis.
Yeah,
just you're all just viewing the same screen and you controlling the different controllers, which is all you need for that, basically.
Exactly.
Well, we're all going to get excited for Urban Champion Online. Woohoo!
It's going to happen, unfortunately.
Oh, the Twitter blow up will just be amazing.
It could still be one of those first 20. There's still 10 we don't know of.
This is true.
All right. I feel we need to do a 64 episode soon because clearly
Didn't we already do that?
No, wait. Like
I need to educate you guys on some good 64 games.
I know there are some good 64 games, but enough for a classic.
You're just going to like Zelda and Mario Kart and all these like
Body Harvest. That's where it's at.
Low hanging fruits.
I will say actually, episode 1 racer. There we go.
Oh, some Torok.
Wave Race.
Torok. Yes, walk through the deadly fog of doom, but you can barely see 3 feet in front of you.
I'm really surprised they haven't at least attempted to try Wave Race again. And granted, though, there's not really a need, it seems like, for jet ski racing type of games. But, you know, I wouldn't mind seeing that again. I know there's one on the Switch, like a jet ski racing game that I forget the name of it, whatever. But
it has the most generic name ever.
I think I know.
Maybe.
It was most recently, and I'm actually reviewing it actually for Pure Nintendo. Hang on, let me see what it is.
Aqua Watercross Extreme Water Skiing.
That's
Wait,
it.
what?
All of the words.
No.
In that order.
All the words. Hang on. I know. I have the name. It's on my tip. It's on the tip of my tongue. Where is it? Here's it.
I'm just going to name some N64.
No, here it is.
Oh,
no,
okay.
this is the name.
How about Mystical Ninja? That's a good 64 game.
Oh yeah, Goemon.
It's okay. I wouldn't say like mind blowing.
What about Glover, huh? What about Glover?
What about that game? What about a game we control? Good love.
Yeah,
Amazing.
stick it on there.
No, here's the name of that this game that released for the Switch and I'm reviewing. It's called Aqua Moto Racing Utopia.
Pretty much what I said.
I got the moto in there. That's what I got.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Now I'm
What about
sad.
Space Station Silicon Valley? Come on, that game must be right up your alley, Colin.
There's Beetle Adventure Racing. That was pretty cool.
There was a remake of an old arcade game. What arcade game was that? That was actually like the N64 version was very well praised.
Cruising
Does anybody
USA.
know what I'm talking about?
Cruising
No.
USA.
I always played Cruising the
Robotron?
World. What?
Was it Robotron, was it?
It was Robotron.
Oh, wow.
Robotron
Kind of-
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
People seem to like that game.
Oh yeah, it was a decently. I do remember that being a decently made arcade port.
Doom's
It isn't really even a port. It's actually more of a reimagining.
I'm talking about outstanding N64 games for this video. You guys just throwing.
Doom 64 is that's a good game. It's an original Doom. Not many consoles have one of those.
Yeah, even then, it's like it wasn't mind blowing.
Oh, you obviously don't like Doom very much, do you? Anyway,
I'll end with this. If they want to do a troll move, I know they would never happen. You should just hide Superman 64 in that thing. I would just get a hearty laugh out of that.
it would be a very expensive, like unlucky Easter egg in there because of the licensing fees. But
Oh no! Once you actually click on that, it won't allow you to play any other games, and then you have to slice.
If they give us Superman 64 in this thing, they should be paying us money to get it.
It's like here's a few hours of your life you're going to lose. Why are you giving me money? Why are you giving me money? You'll understand why soon.
Exactly. Like this is for counseling.
all right, so it's been decided. It's unanimous. N64 Classic. It's going to be a thing. It's got some great games. You should
I think
excited.
it'll be a thing. I don't know. It might have great games like that.
It had just commonly good games, like
Of
the equivalent.
It has
quality to Mario Odyssey, so you don't have to worry about
it. It will have some solid 6 out of 10s on there.
6 out of 10.
All right. Well, the last news story was going to be about Splatfest, but I feel we summarised that in what we've been playing. Donnie won.
Yeah, Donnie won. Yeah, and I still wanted Mikey, but no.
Nah.
Oh, my friend Eli. I'll have to have him listen to this show, and that way you guys can sympathize together about Mikey losing it.
Set up a little support group.
Yeah.
Support group.
Commiserate.
No, but you missed it. No, but the thing is, we were actually when this was announced, Holly, we threw at ideas of like, well, what were the ideas for nice tournaments, and we're just like, do it for Nintendo characters. That'd be kind of cool. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd be all on board with that.
Yeah, I guess we know it works up to 8, no, up to 4, like things to pick from, and then you get a obviously a free Splatfest in a row.
Did you think there were 8 Ninja Turtles?
No, I didn't.
Is that what happened there?
8. We're not counting that. Well, yeah, 8. Well, technically 5 if you count the non-canon Next Mutation, which is just
That is true.
That show is just hot trash. But
I remember that. Oh god, I remember that. Let's not mention that. That's horrible.
Okay, I was going to say something about my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle knowledge may not be up to par, but nah, it's definitely not. That's gone way over my head. So that covers the Nintendo news. I think very professionally, as we do every week. We have obviously a feature because we mentioned at the beginning of the show our top 10 3DS games each, and apparently 2 honorable mentions. So I think we'll get the honorable mentions out of the way.
Ooh.
I think. So let's do an order of things. Actually, honorable mentions. I reckon we can just whoever wants to go. Who's got any honorable mentions ready? And then the top 10 we'll do in a more strict form.
Organized manner.
More organized manner. Yes.
I think our good friend Holly should go first.
All right. Okay, Holly. Do you have
Sorry,
any
sorry to
honorable
put you on the
mentions?
spot. Sorry to put you on the spot.
That's okay. I'm
Harrison's fault.
prepped for this, man.
Good. I'm not. I need some time.
Harrison is gonna hate me, but Metroid: Samus Returns, honorable mention.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Mostly because I actually didn't play a whole lot of it. It's almost like an honorable mention because I'm like, I really wish that I had had the time to dedicate some more.
It's okay, Holly. It's not even on my list.
Yeah, you know what's not on my list? Pokemon. No Pokemon's on my list.
Not on
Me
my list.
neither.
What's the result? Don't say everything things which aren't on your lists.
I just wanted to say no. I'm just saying no Pokemon. But
These lists are formatted in a way to build up some sort of excitement. Don't say things which are.
I'll get into the reason why I don't have Pokemon when I get into my full list. But my other honorable mention was Animal Crossing New Leaf because Animal Crossing still hasn't really captured me like it has captured a lot of other people. I mean, I enjoyed it. My sister, that is the only video game that she likes.
Just period.
So, and I
just the only one.
I'm serious. I'm dead serious. It's
I'm
like the
not
only
surprised. I know
Yeah.
people like that. Yeah, they'll play Animal Crossing as opposed to like people who just play games, sort of things.
Anyway, so I know that people love it, and I liked it well enough, and I would love to see Animal Crossing on the Switch. But yeah, it's just relegated to honorable mention for me.
Not ready for promotion yet.
No.
All right. Harrison, what are your
Sure.
honorable mentions?
I'll just name straight both out right now, but my two honorable mentions are one game that I thought I was not going to like, but I got from and I mentioned many times before that I got as one of my last gifts through Club Nintendo, and that is Kid Icarus Uprising, and my other game is Azure Striker Gunvolt.
Okay.
And I really, I think a lot of people say like they'll praise like a bit of Kid Icarus Uprising just for its writing and its voice acting just alone, and just kind of like hit down on its control scheme, which yes, at times it can be very cumbersome and very angry. But once you get past that,
at times, man, I feel like
the times when you're on the ground.
yeah, I think that's what I was mentioning. On the ground, it's fine, but I grew to love it. I really did, and that was one I was going back to a lot more. Now, in the case of Azure Striker Gunvolt, which I've, Lewis said he has not finished. He's just given up on it. I understand, but
I've given up on number 1 for now, so I can move on to number 2. Maybe I'll return to 1. One is stopping my progress to number 2.
Those boss rush modes, man. But no, this one is like it gave me that nice fix of something like of a Mega Man X type of like of a run and gun platformer. So and when the sequel was announced, I was just happy for it. But the first one, I just like a little bit more. So that's my honorable mentions.
All right. I'm going to do my honorable mentions now. So Colin, get ready. First on honorable mentions, as it's known over here, Luigi's Mansion number 2.
Ooh,
that's not how it's known over here.
As it's known over here, Luigi's Mansion 2.
There we are. There we
are. So yeah, it's a fun Luigi's Mansion game. I don't think it's as good as the original, but it does capture a lot of that stuff. Yeah, it was really fun. It got beat out by a lot of good games.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I hope so. It got beat out by worse games.
That was actually my first 3DS game, along with Mario 3D Land, when I first got my XL. I think, what was that deal that they had? Oh, yeah. Club Nintendo did the same thing, where it's like if you bought a 3DS XL with any of these with any of these games, you would get like Mario Land, Super Mario Land 3D Land for free. I was like, oh, okay, awesome. That's right. So that's what I did.
Do you know what my first 3DS game was?
Steel Diver.
Steel Diver.
No, I think ironically that wasn't actually a launch game over here. I think it actually came like ridiculously later for some reason. Never played it.
Pilot Wings Resort.
No, it was. I just jumped straight to it. And I'm noticing as I'm speaking, the logo is spinning around faster and faster on the 3DS's top screen. It is Super Street Fighter 4 3D Edition.
Oh, it's actually pretty good.
With quite the wordy title. It's a good version of Street Fighter 4. My other honorable mention, maybe a bit controversial, is The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds.
Oh, I paused there for a second. I was thinking, like, wow, that's Dang.
I didn't make the top 10.
Didn't
I'm
make
out of
it.
here.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Wow.
That's
Look,
just
look what you did, Lewis. Look what you did, Lewis.
closing.
Guess is leaving because of your rankings.
I've come with a different list.
Well, I gave it the praise it deserves, so I guess that's fine.
Spoilers. Colin,
Mm.
you got some honorable
I
mentions
still
for
don't know
us?
what number.
I'm just speechless. Like you put Zelda in your honorable mentions. Okay.
Let me double check.
I can check my. I know my fact checker just showed up. But, oh no, he's not there. Sorry. Still out.
Nice callback. Okay, so my first honorable mention goes to a little game that actually Harrison played first, and then from his description, I picked it up. Pocket Card Jockey.
Yes.
It's such an interesting little premise for a game, but it is so addictive. It is so much fun. It really is. It's a clever mechanic. It's just basically solitaire, but it's just how it's presented. It's amazing. It's very much like One More Race type deal. One of those games.
I just double checked. Wasn't on the list. I got scared for a moment.
Oh, geez.
I thought I'm gonna have to secretly swap it out with something else.
No, trust me. With my 1 and 2 right now, I have a question mark between them. Thinking like, do I want to switch these spots? So yeah, you're. But anyway.
So my other honorable mention goes to Mario Golf World Tour. Amazing golf game. Amazing golf game. The tournament system's really fun. And it's golf. I like golf. There you go.
Do you like to play golf in real life then?
I enjoy it. I won't say I'm good at it. That's fun. There you go.
So I think for the top 10s, we'll go in reverse order of how we were introduced. So we'll go Holly, Colin, Harrison, me.
Okay.
And we'll do start with 10s, we'll do our 10s, then we'll do our 9s, and so on and so forth. We can say a little or a little bit more on each game, depending on how passionate we feel about it. So, Holly, do you mind kicking things off with your number 10?
My number 10 is going to shock you, but it's Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance.
Ooh, nice.
Which one is that? I feel like there's just so many of these things I can't keep up with.
It's
Like,
the only 3DS one.
okay.
Yes, this is true. Yep.
Yeah.
So, I just have some great memories playing this game, and it has a special place in my heart. For some reason, Kingdom Hearts, like the series as a whole, actually has a special place in my heart because it's one of the few it's not super exclusive to Nintendo, and it's one of the few of those kinds of series that I actually really love. And sometimes I'm like, why do I love this so much? But I just love the Kingdom Hearts series, and I thought 3D on the 3DS was actually one of the best more recent Kingdom Hearts games, because previous ones, for some reason, I don't know, they were getting a little stale for me. So loved that one. Give it a shot, man.
It's a good game.
Did you at least see any footage of they showed some footage of Kingdom Hearts 3, and I was really excited to see Wreck-It Ralph in the show up. So
yeah. Haven't seen that yet. I've got to get on that soon.
What, Wreck-It Ralph or Kingdom Hearts?
Kingdom Hearts.
I was about to say Wreck-It Ralph. Go see that now.
Like, leave the show and see it.
Just go now.
I've just lost hope over Kingdom Hearts 3. Just that it's ever going to happen. So I'm not following it very well.
It's happening. It's. I mean,
very slowly.
Yes.
But yeah, I think we're finally getting there. Should be a good E3 showing for it this year. Shall we?
My top 10.
Yeah.
My number 10 goes to Ever Oasis. Yeah, no one saw that one coming. Great game, great RPG. Quite late in the 3DS life, well, the 3DS is still going. It's not dead yet somehow. Really good RPG, really clever, really. I just found it kind of intriguing, the whole desert setting and building your own oasis, and just how in depth that system is of how you can build it. It's a nice little twist of like RPG and city builder. Pretty cool.
I just bought it recently. I haven't played it yet, but I own it now.
Cool. It's a great game.
I have yet to play that either, and that was one I was really excited up for the front. But what was it?
The Switch
Basically-
went away.
Yeah, Switch got in the way, basically.
It was like, it was around Switch time, so that's it.
Harrison, then.
Yes. My number 10 is a game that we just mentioned on here that Colin didn't mention, and that is Pocket Card Jockey.
Oh,
I won't spend too much time on it right now. But once this was first concept was revealed to me, and the idea of like horse racing revolving around with solitaire, I was like, okay, I need to learn more about this, whatever. But things when it comes to it, I mean, it's such kind of an absurd story to start out with, where it involves the jockey dying, and
it's the greatest game where you die in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And it's a game I wouldn't mind replaying again, or if there was an updated version of it if it came to Switch.
It'd be amazing. Absolutely.
So, but yeah, that's my number 10.
Okay, for me, number 10, Majora's Mask 3D.
Ooh.
Solid.
I usually
So
try
solid.
to refrain from like putting in like essentially a port, but I feel the 3D edition of Majora's Mask does make it a better game. It does streamline certain aspects. Well, quite a lot of aspects. The user interface stuff as well. It's like having just even like just control of that the camera as well. And it looks really nice in 3D, really solid frame rate, all the rest. It's a really very, very good version of that game. Where I do feel as much as I love the N64 original, it can be hard to go back to, and I feel it's hard to introduce people to that game with that version. But I feel with Majora's Mask 3D, it's so easy to recommend that to someone now.
Oh yeah, it is.
And yeah, I had so much fun replaying it, and so it managed to break my rule, made it into my number 10.
That was a game I was, that was actually my first game that I bought for my new 3DS alongside that one. So, no fun fact there, and I was glad that I put in the time to 100% complete that. So,
Fantastic. And the bomber notebook, like the enhancements just on that alone, very appreciated.
Yeah, that version of that game is the only reason that I was able to get through Majora's Mask myself. So, yeah, great port.
Living evidence.
Remaster.
Excellent.
Yes.
All right, Holly.
Well, I have to say that I am the same as you, Lewis, and that I decided to not put ports on here, in I don't have Majora's Mask 3D or Ocarina of Time 3D. I do have a game that is a little bit of a remake in a way, but we'll get to that.
Ooh.
My number 9 is actually Pushmo, though.
Ooh, Pushmo.
Super solid puzzle game. I just love that. I'm not super into puzzle games, and I think Pushmo is perfect for people like that because it's the type of puzzle game where you don't ever get like too stuck. You do eventually, just by difficulty, we'll get stuck eventually. But on any given puzzle, like you're not getting super stuck anywhere. You can always try something different, and I like that consistent, pace that the game offers, to where you can always try something new, and you're never like just utterly stuck. So I love Pushmo.
Yeah, so I've not thought about Pushmo in quite some time, but yeah, it's all a game.
Did anybody ever play Crashmo, the sequel to that?
No.
I played a bit of Crashmo.
I played Stretchmo
because the names. Yeah, I think it's another one of those where the names are slightly different over here.
Oh yes, that's probably true. Yeah. Can't remember what it's named for you guys though.
Yeah.
European Crashmo. There we go.
European Crashmo.
British Crashmo.
I'll take it.
Not quite, but yeah. Pushmo's good. Stretchmo was pretty good too. I liked that too. But I mean, Pushmo to me was just so fresh and new and fun, and I just love it.
Yep.
Awesome. So, Colin.
Yes. My number 9.
Number 9.
Super Mario 3D Land.
Ooh.
Yeah. Hey, you didn't sound coming, did you? Yeah. Great game. It's a Mario game. It's
A great Mario game.
a great.
You're stuttering that.
It's
No.
better than Odyssey, is what Colin is confirming and just realizing what you said.
Yeah, no, I would say it's better than Odyssey.
I throw my pen at my screen for you. Jeez, you and your weird opinions.
For a cappy. That's what
It's
you
a bit, I think I had more fun with 3D Land.
Oh, speaking of Cappy, did anybody see the photo circulating from during the royal wedding over the weekend that some guy during the ceremony was wearing a Cappy hat?
Oh, really?
Yeah, like during the whole parade round, I was like, "Oh, look, there's Cappy."
That's awesome.
Classy bloke.
Pretty cool.
Yeah,
I would have
respect that.
I would have stood on his hat. Yeah, no, yeah.
The thing is, he didn't start with it. Someone just threw it on. Started running around.
Stop possessing people.
I throw this on Prince Harry. Now I'm now in the
I
Grand
am
Duke.
now royal. But yeah, that's my number.
That's how that works. All right, Harrison.
Yes, my number 9, as
Number
I say,
9.
number 9, is Super Smash Brothers for Nintendo 3DS. And this is a game I thought was not when Nintendo initially announced that they were going to be bringing Smash Brothers to the 3DS. I didn't know what to expect because during our Nintendo days, I think even many of us kind of speculate like how would this graphical style be different from the console version of there. My guess was like, okay, they'll probably be like pixelated characters or something like that. That was my guess, but no, they actually found a way to essentially create what was like a 3DS version of the Wii U version, even though I found the Wii U version to be way superior. But to what they did on here, they got it to work, and I had a solid amount of fun with this one. Smash Run, or what was it?
Smash Run.
Smash Run. I may not have it. It was a interesting idea and concept, but I feel like it did not grow. They didn't really grow it as much on there.
I enjoy Smash Run more than the board game.
Yeah, that one's not as good, but I just think with Smash Run, the potential was there. They just didn't really go further with it because I feel like if they would have made it a little bit longer when you're trying to beef up your character, I feel like that would have just, I don't know. Like there's too many instances when you just beef up your character and it's like, oh, you're just knocked out really quickly. I'm like, okay, that was a waste, but that's what I say. But to me, I didn't put enough hours in this one as much as the Wii U version, but this one I really, really liked a lot that, I look forward to basically another portable version of this one. Hopefully, this fall on this little thing, this little Switch. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll run on the handheld mode.
Oh, obviously. I mean, I know it's going to run, but I'm just saying I can't wait to play it on there. So,
So, yeah, I'm gonna piggyback off yours. And a new rule, if you've got the same game in the same slot position as someone else, I feel you can jump on their conversation.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And so my number 9 is also Smash Bros. For the 3DS. So I won't add much to this. One negative thing Harrison forgot to mention is it can break my 3DS.
It did.
It can break its circle pad.
Yeah.
Your fault, not the games.
Wow.
It's your fault, not the game.
Well, the tutorial specifically says you should be smashing it.
He did.
Maybe it's just implied. Yeah. But no, I mean, I have to commend him in terms of the technicalities. And it runs 60 frames. Like certain elements run at 30.
That is a feat itself.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's a lot of people just kind of overlook some of those things. I mean, that's not for everyone. It's technicals, but yeah, it runs very well. Like it is what you would want from a portable version of that game. Like you can play it online well. And have fun doing it, and it feels the same as when you're playing on the Wii later on. It's just a different form. But considering how vastly different of power both those machines were, and in setup, very well done. And I did pour a surprising amount of time into that 3DS version, just because it was kind of almost like that Switch factor. Is like, I can just play Smash Bros. Now.
I think their smart plan with that game was to release it first, and
agreed.
Wii version, just because I think if they released both at the same time, it would have got lost against the Wii version.
Oh yeah, I think the only, I don't know, I think it was even though that leak happened before and when we found out all these different characters were coming out, but they took away from the fun.
On to number 8, Holly.
Well, this is my game that you could consider, in a way, to be a remake, but it's got tons of new stuff in it, and that is Rhythm Heaven Megamix. And long story short, I am obsessed with that series, and that's that. I love those games. Megamix was really good. So.
Yeah, definitely. Very, very almost my list.
Almost.
Almost.
Didn't even get a horrible mention.
Not quite.
Well, hey, that's another thing about my list. I kind of tried to make it somewhat unusual, like and unexpected, to kind of highlight games that might be overlooked a little. So there may be some games later on that surprise you.
Oh, looking forward to those.
Yeah. All right. Colin.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. Monster Hunter Stories.
Oh, I'll take that.
There it is. Monster Hunter Stories. I was originally going to have Pokemon in the slot, but I was like, people will have Pokemon, so I swapped it out for Monster Hunter. Which Monster Hunter Stories is essentially the Monster Hunter Pokemon game that we never knew we wanted. It's a JRPG Monster Hunter style. It's fun. It's good, and it's like one of the crispest looking 3DS games. Like that art style is so good on 3DS.
Yeah, never did play it, but it always looked very impressive in the trailer.
Again, technical feat, it's outstanding. Really good game. Really good game.
Good battle engine?
Absolutely.
Battle system, yeah?
Yep.
That's what you need. Harrison. What you brought us, number 8?
Well, okay. I'm going to kind of cheat on this one. No, hear me out. Hear me on this one.
I knew it.
Wait. This is what I'm going to do. And my number 8 spot goes to 3 games in this series that are very similar, but at least had a different hook.
You can't do that. That's 3 games.
Let me decide. And that is the Box Boy series. I can't choose any of them, and I figured, you know what? Let's put all 3 of them in the 8 spot. They essentially, it's a continuation of each one, and to me, I feel you looks like you're about to leave. You're just like, come on.
Like Harrison's top 10 list is now top 13. And you can't have 3 games in one slot. That's just how it works.
Box Boy.
Just pick the first one.
Okay, I'll pick. Okay, even though in spirit it's all 3, but Box Boy. And I will tell you my for one. This is of course a game done by HAL Labs, the guys who all did all the Kirby games. And to me, this is one like that I felt like that was a nice little. Its aesthetic was a nice little love letter to Game Boy games. It's black and white like textures and such, whatever. And plus, it was just a great little puzzle game. I feel like it would feel pretty much welcome on a mobile device too. So, and with each one, I got increasingly loved each one of them more and more. But to me, it just yes, I would say. I kind of like them all, so it was hard to decide. But since I'm being overruled, yes, the first Box Boy, because it's the first is always the one you remember the most. But still,
there you are.
I consider each one of them as one package. So that is my number 8.
Yeah,
cool. Well, for my number 8, this won't surprise anyone.
Probably not.
Clearly, it's Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate.
Ooh,
yeah. There we go.
Okay.
A non-surprise. I don't know why it would be too surprising. It's documented. It wasn't
a little bit surprising.
Fancy. It wasn't higher, or just that it made it all?
It made it all.
Oh, fair enough. For my history of the series, I did pour a fair amount of time in between this game and the Wii U version.
Okay.
In terms of the Monster Hunter games, it's I'm kind of combining them. But I mean, in terms of a 3DS listing, obviously it is just this game. I did pour, quite a lot of time, and there's the one Monster Hunter game which I have done that with. Really, I've not really done that with the others. I've kind of dabbled with the others, but this is the one in particular which, for whatever reason, got me to climb the ranks and play lots of online, and it's great. I mean. It's kind of one of those things like you either know what it is or you don't. Like you have experienced that, or you're just bewildered or annoyed by it. But that just kind of represents Monster Hunter for me. And kind of in general, I am looking forward to Generations Ultimate in similar fashion, because oddly, Generations is one I dabbled in, but I never did get that far in it. And I guess it's all about like forming up like your little online hubs and jumping in together sort of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas this is the game I did that with. And so that's why I got the fun I did out of it.
Yeah, that's good.
That's my number 8.
It's surprising.
There we go. All right, jumping into then number 7. Holly, what do you have for us?
My number 7 is Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon.
The love around, good.
I've not played that game. Tell me about it.
that particular one.
We played it online together, though.
No, I was playing Luigi's Mansion 2. That's a different game.
Oh. Whatever. That online was actually pretty fun.
It was, yeah.
It was good.
So yeah, Luigi's Mansion, and I have to say that when we get to my Monster Hunter pick, like of course I have Monster Hunter on my list. You know, I have Monster Hunter on my list. My pick for the particular Monster Hunter is like I picked it for the same reason as you did, Lewis. So
okay.
So, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
We'll have a good time.
Yes. So my number 7.
Come on, mate. Yeah, number 7.
My number 7. Final Fantasy Explorers.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I completely forgot about that game.
A lot of people did, and I kind
Another
of
Monster Hunter game.
Explorers. It's heavily based on Monster Hunter, but it is its own thing.
Oh,
it very much is its own game. It does take a lot of influence from the Monster Hunter series, granted. But in a game where you can fight the summons from previous Final Fantasies, that's a pretty cool concept. And it is a really good, fun game.
Did it sell well? Do we know?
I don't know.
Not that it's relevant in this discussion, but I feel like it should have, and thus we should have had another one by now.
I feel like it should have sold more than what it did. I don't think it sold quite as well what they were expecting. It was a very experimental title for what it was. It was their first foray into this other genre for Final Fantasy. Yeah, it's just really the character customization I like. So the way you can tweak your character in that game is quite in depth, and obviously it's just the boss fights were epic. So yeah, good game.
Right. Cool. All right then, Harrison.
Wait, it is my turn. Oh yeah, it is. Sorry, no, wow, I'm losing track on there. No, my number 7 is, and this was hard for me to put it this low, even though I put a lot of time into it, and that is Fire Emblem Fates.
Oh.
So that, and of course that includes all versions. I mean, it's all in the same game. So
that one counts.
Yeah, that does.
Digitally.
No.
At which point it's only called Fates, and you download the other things as expansions.
Yeah, pretty much.
Did anyone play them all?
I did. I only played the first 2. I did not play Revelations. And
okay.
Why?
I wouldn't count that. You have to pick one.
I don't care if it's the same title. They have different subtitles. So
I'm just going Fates. Sorry, man. It's my list. My list. It's my list.
Hashtag my list.
Hashtag my list. But no, and
hashtag my list.
But for this one, I think this one did a little bit of improvements over for me from Awakening. As much as I, love Awakening and putting so much hours in that one, and something that invigorated me into Fire Emblem. But for me, this one also just I liked the better support conversations that you could get with these characters, and also just how it teetered along the lines between, if you want a very hardcore follow, like a vision of what Fire Emblem is, play Conquest, or do you want more of the casuals to kind of put things in? You could go with Birthright, or if you want to meet in the middle, you could always do it with Revelations. That's what I've heard with that one, obviously. So, and this one, it really got a lot of work out on my 3DS for me, and to me, it just continued on thinking I thought after Awakening I was never going to play any more Fire Emblem, but to me that reinvigorated it furthermore for me. So
I'm just glad you put that on there instead of Awakening, unless you put Awakening higher. But yeah, Fates,
now.
Surprisingly, Fates was the better game in my opinion too.
Ooh.
So anyway, we'll get into that later too.
Yeah. I guess it's my turn now. I don't have any Fire Emblem to talk about just yet, at least. We've got some Pokemon.
Oh,
Pokemon Sun or Pokemon Moon. Take your pick. I played Moon.
I can do.
Pokemon Moon. It's a good Pokemon game. Not that that's a standout feature, but it was a refreshing Pokemon game. It did feel like it was a significant jump.
Was it? We actually could get rid of some things. Yes, finally, thank you.
Yeah,
It's changed the formula a bit. It took them 8 games, so
exactly, and not just
more.
They did things like that. Like the camera was more dynamic. It just felt a bit more like it had a bit more personality, in my opinion. Compared to
the online sucks, though. Let's get that straight right now.
Well, duh.
They downgraded that. They downgraded that from Gen 6 up to Sun and Moon. wow, a lot. Shocking how bad that is.
Which
is why I would, if I had
I didn't
Pokemon
get
on my
much
list,
into the
it would
online
be
in
X
Sun
and
and
Y.
Moon. No, which is obviously hashtag my list. I don't know what I mean. I didn't spend much time online. I did a few trading and a few battles, and so I didn't bump my head against those issues. I'm sure they're there. But no, in terms of just like the more single player stuff, it did feel very refreshing to just to kind of explore that world. And speak to the characters there, and just like simple things like swapping the HMs for rides, and it's just a lot of just little tweaks, which was that makes sense, or just
to me,
finally.
The biggest like breath of fresh air was the trials instead of the gyms. That was so much better, I think.
I feel that was more just like I feel they were gyms, like that was just more just the wording of it. Like some of them were different, but some of them was like, yeah, we're basically a gym, we're just fighting still.
Yeah.
You're fighting for this little badge.
Yeah.
But no, that is an example of at least there are certain points where that is quite different. Opposed to going, oh, yep, I know what's going to happen this time. Yep. The water gym. What's going to be wait for me here? Yeah. That's my number 7. Holly, do you have a 6th game on your list?
No, I skipped that number.
Oh, all right.
You guys?
This is why I ask these questions.
I'm kidding. My number 6 is Kirby Planet Robobot.
Oh,
I never did play it.
Do we still own robobotvoice.com?
I think we do.
Wow, I hope not.
Hey, great game. It looked like, just another Kirby game, which most Kirby games are just another Kirby game, but it threw some things into the mix that I thought were just super fun. Like the mech that you control. It's super fun. It turns the formula around and does some interesting things, and it's I loved that game for some reason.
I mean, I did play Triple Deluxe, but I did hear that there was a lot of improvement into this version of the Kirby game. Even though, Kirby games are meant for everybody, pretty easy. But I feel like this, from friends tell me that this is the one that they actually went a little bit extra mile for this one. So,
Yeah, and one of the collectibles in the game, this is actually one of the awesome things about it. One of the collectibles is stickers. You can collect stickers, and then you can put them on your mech and kind of have some customization there. Usually cool. Collectibles in Kirby games don't matter a whole lot, but in this case they did, and they added a lot to that. So
I think when you have Sakurai in charge, you're definitely going to be seeing a little bit of collectibles on there. I mean, in Triple Deluxe they had the badges, which were different sprites of various keychains. Yes, of very Kirby. Thank you, from very Kirby games. So all the way from his first one when Nintendo decided to miscolor him as white instead of pink. So
sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Colin. What you got for us?
Number 6.
Number 6.
A Robin Lysol RPG known as Bravely Default. Now, I have to preface this by saying that I did not finish this game because
if you did, it would have been number 1. I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure. I think it would have been higher if I did. Oh, but there's some plot point which Lewis knows about, which it put me off the game. But the game,
same here.
It is an outstanding, really well made RPG for 3DS, and the really pushed it. The soundtrack. The soundtrack's one of the best soundtracks of any 3DS game out there. Those
villages, the painted art style. When it's also in 3D. It's
it's a beautiful game. So yeah, that's number 6.
Harrison.
My number 6 is The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3.
Yeah,
I forgot the title. I was like, what the?
Oh, you guys should maybe laugh at that one. No, but it is Majora's Mask 3D. Won't talk too much about this one. It's one of my top 3 favorite 3Ds, top 3 favorite Zeldas of all time, and this version obviously increased basically what I was annoyed, what did not age well from the 64 version. So, and to me, like as Lewis had pointed out, when you have the Bomber's Handbook as well, that's used on that screen, that has a lot better to actually itemize and just like manage what you've been doing around town. And to me, it's still even 18 years later playing that, when you're just having conversations with these characters and then having to reverse time and then dealing with impending doom, I still get choked up about it. I really do. And even more.
The confusing about Majora's Mask. Kind of a little segue here. When did Link learn to do those flips?
How did he learn to do it?
When did he take the time to, like, you know what? I'm going to start flipping off things. That's what I'm going to start
Didn't he do it in Ocarina? Like, the first thing?
Nah.
No,
it's new to the intro.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh.
Like the somersault type jumps.
I don't know. Maybe all that time looking for Navi, he just got bored. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna do some acrobatics for a little bit. Why? Because it looks cool.
Yeah. No one's looking at it properly.
Yeah. Because
that's what Nintendo's thinking, apparently.
Well, I mean, to make you look cool, it's like, okay, I'm a boy wearing a green tunic, and yes, I have a sword and all, but people are gonna laugh at me. They won't laugh at me. I'm doing flips and throwing out my sword.
Time traveling's not cool anymore.
Apparently not.
Nah, you got to do flips. Give real cred. All right, my number 6. Little game.
Tiny.
Relatively. Not tiny.
Size of a fingernail.
It's not epic. Okay. It's Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing New Leaf is my number 6.
A little game, but okay.
Well, it depends how you define it. Anyway, we know what Animal Crossing is. However, I do think New Leaf is the best Animal Crossing. It's also been, like, just in terms of what we've had so far, at least. It's been on a most accessible system, as in it's easy to go online on that version, sort of thing. Whereas it was a pain in the previous ones. But the fact you can be mayor. There's lots of these nicety things about it. Plus, it just has obviously all the old stuff. But it's more of a game that, like, I think it's finally, you play it the time of day it is, so it's easy, especially when it was released. You just flip open your 3DS. It's nighttime or whatever.
This is the one where you start in a tent, right?
You kind of do that normally. I mean, you don't start in a tent. I can't remember. I only started it once, maybe.
I can't remember.
They usually start in a house, right? Why are you starting a tent? You're confusing me now.
It's Animal Crossing. They all blend together for me.
They usually have a house, I'm sure. Little house, and it gets bigger. With more rooms,
I'm pretty sure
more floors.
It's not a tent in this one. That's really sticking out to my memory for some reason. Anyway.
You confuse me now. Maybe there is a little tent there. But it But no, it's essentially it just comes down to it's the best version of Animal Crossing. And I think it released at a good time for the 3DS. Because I remember pouring a lot of time into it, and like friends also doing the similar thing, which is what's kind of needed, I feel, for that game to take off for yourself, is to be able to visit other people's like houses, or to be able to like stockpile on turnips on a Sunday, as well as a friend or two, and be like, what your price is this day, and so on.
The riveting gameplay of Animal Crossing.
Exactly. Well, there's lots to do. You can grow your town in different ways, and lots of new additions to customize all around.
Edgy to seat stuff.
Yeah, but it shouldn't be forgotten though. It's a very good game. Really. All right. Well, we're on to
5s, I believe.
On to the 5s. On to the other half. Holly, what do you have in store for us?
All right, my number 5 is Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate.
Okay.
No, I spelled it wrong. I spelled it Ultimate.
That's what we got to stick with.
On my notes. Yeah.
That's what's going to be on the
plaque. There's going to be a plaque? Oh.
That was cruel.
Immortalize our lists. Yeah, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. That was kind of I got way into Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, but 4 Ultimate is just when I had, like, the Monster Hunter fandom, for me anyway, was just at its greatest, and I put the most hours into that one, and I still think that it actually kind of looks the best too, and plays the best, and Not that any of them play, especially just the ones on the 3DS lineup. They don't play a whole lot differently from one another, but I just think 4 Ultimate looks and plays the best. So that's my number 5. I love that game.
Yeah, that's a good choice. Yeah, but I feel there's certain games it would just be like, oh yeah, maybe one game has like this feature which the other one doesn't. So, but like, no, this one is where I experienced it. This is where I poured all my time into.
It's very much an experience, I think. Well, I guess I'll dive into number 5. Yeah. This is where things get eclectic, folks.
As if they weren't already.
Well, I'm trying to work out the pronunciations. Etrian. I think it's Etrian. Etrian Odyssey 4. This is my very first Etrian Odyssey game. And I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the cartography aspect of it, the writing down your own map as you travel through dungeons. Really cool. It's pretty basic as a Japanese RPG goes, as it's all first person, there's no animations and stuff, but the exploration aspect really shines through. And it's very addictive to me. I just love finding like what's in this cave, what's in this peak of this mountain, what's inside this temple, and mapping out. Oh yeah, loads. Yeah, it was fun. It's a really, really good game.
Wait, which Etrian Odyssey, or which one is this again?
This is 4, which is, I think it's the Wrath of the Titan, or it's along those lines. There's more Titan in it, I think.
I've been intrigued by this series and interested in trying it for a long time. So
this is my first one, and it broke me in gently. So it was yeah.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of them on the 3DS, aren't there?
There are, yes. Which is kind of intimidating. Yeah.
But yeah, good starting point, apparently.
Number 4.
Cool. All right then. Harrison, what do you have in store for us?
My number 5 game that we did mention on there is
number 5.
Super Mario 3D Land.
Oh.
Again, one of the first 2 games I actually did buy for my 3DS, and one that
solid 7 out of 10.
Solid 9 out of 10 for me. These games to me deserve. I feel that my 10 are all 9s out of 10s. Maybe 8s, but 9s. Some are 10 out of 10. But for this one though, it's I don't know. I think this one really early on justified the use of the 3DS's 3D slider. And that could go for about a miss of other few games on this list as well, too. But also, it just really, really was such a fun game to play to me, and just really echoed back a lot for a great portable experience for Mario. And to me, I think probably the best portable Mario game.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, yep, that's my number 5.
Okay, my number 5 game, which hasn't been mentioned yet, Rhythm Paradise Megamix. Which, yes, is the same game.
What game is that?
Yeah.
Rhythm Heaven. But we call it Rhythm Paradise for some reason.
Those are kind of similar words, right?
Paradise, Heaven, it's all the same.
Yeah, I don't know why. The change, maybe we've got something called Rhythm Heaven over here, which is some obscure Spanish band or whatever. I don't know.
It seems to me that if anything, Nintendo of America would have called it something besides Heaven, because Heaven is kind of religiously.
Yeah.
Well, there's like a religious kind of intonation there, so I don't know.
That's true, but it's the same game.
Yeah.
However, so it's much as what Holly says. I don't need to say too much here. Fantastic collection of all these things, and it's. I mean, although I know this series has like roots in the portable side, I kind of like really got used to it on like the Wii. But it is really good as a portable game, and it's nice just to be able to like click open your 3DS, play it for like 5-10 minutes or something. Like it's weird. It's like one of those games like if you just need to get in like a jolly mood sort of thing. Put a bit of Mega Mix on. That's going to put a smile on your face. It's, or it's also just good to like show people. Oh, look at this thing.
Well, I had a lot of people who were just blown away by how goofy and quirky the game on Wii was, because that one's a little easier to show people.
Oh, definitely, yeah. But it is fun with the 3DS because you can just hold up to their face. And they
anywhere.
Kind of, yeah, exactly.
Anytime. anyone.
Yeah, 3D.
Actually, that should be the tagline.
Yeah, they should really do
almost
something
the
with that.
Switches.
Yeah. All right then. We're on to number 4. What do we have?
My number 4 is Super Smash Bros.
For
I put it pretty high.
the 3DS. That's
Yeah.
what you did there.
For some reason, like when I played this on 3DS, first portable Super Smash Bros. Experience, and it was just special. It just felt like it occurred to me very early on, like I'm playing Super Smash Bros. Here at this, like I remember playing it at the local burger place in town, and thinking like, here I am at the burger place playing Super Smash Bros. And I personally love Smash Run quite a bit, and I hate Smash Tour on the Wii U version, which I think to me that drags that version down quite a bit. So I actually, in a way, I kind of prefer the 3D version. Of course, it's a lot harder to get local multiplayer battles going with the 3DS version. So that's the one thing that the Wii U version has over it. But I loved the 3DS version quite a bit.
Yeah, fantastic version. I think criminally underrated or overlooked. Or both.
The online for the 3DS version actually worked better than the Wii U version online for me.
All right. I don't
know why.
I don't necessarily think one worked better than the other, but yeah, they were, well, at least both as solid as each other. But
Better than Brawl.
they were fine. To be honest, they were fine. Yeah, good experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
I guess it's time for my number 4.
Yeah, it is gone.
So, just to fly through this, Fire Emblem Awakening.
Oh.
I really enjoyed it, and I've not played Fates, so
Missing out.
I'll get to it, Harrison. I'll get to it. Don't you worry. But yeah, no, yeah. Fire
All
Emblem,
3 separate games.
Yeah, all 3.
It's not a time commitment at all.
No.
And there's also extra DLC on top if you fancy.
Man, what's that coming up? I ain't got time. But yeah, no, honestly, I really enjoyed Fire Emblem games. They come from I played the Wii one and I played the GameCube one. Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn, both outstanding. Fire Emblem Awakening kind of took it to a new level for me.
Did you play any of the other portable games for Fire Emblem?
I had a go at Shadow Dragon on DS.
Okay,
but I didn't get too far into it. So I probably should go back to that at some point. It's really quite fun. But yeah, Fire Emblem Awakening.
Oh, awesome. All right, then. How about you, Harrison?
Number 4 is a game that I did recently play and finally finished playing all 80 hours of it, and that game would be Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. Now, for a experience as someone who actually enjoyed bits and parts of Xenoblade Chronicles X, I had to, go back and finish, Chronicles in some form. I used to play it, whatever, on my Wii, but I lost my copy. And so I was like, you know what? This is on sale. I can finally buy it. And so I did. And in the case of this right now, I just fell in love with it. I mean, I was already well known for from the battle system I saw with X, but for me, this one I felt was a very nice addition to the portable version. My only bits of things I could probably dumb it down. I mean, I had so much fun just, going around my world, dealing with the characters themselves. I was not really good at gem crafting for some reason. For some reason, that was the one thing in the game I just could not get down right, even with so many tutorials. And again, make fun of me for all I am for my incompetence with that. So
no, it's complicated stuff, man.
It really is. It's just like, okay, I need this gem, and I need to get these two people to like each other to make sure they make this well. Okay.
And then there's the skills themselves. Like sometimes it's like, what does this even do? What kind of benefit does this have in battle? And
it takes it. I mean, I will say though, there's less things to moving parts to look around there as opposed to X, because my God, that's like no, all the things you have to do in that one. That's like somebody at NASA trying to look at so many monitors of basically a space mission. I'm just sitting there going like, okay, I got to do this, and then you completely forget about something down here. Like, oh, I had to do that. But I think but again, the one thing I could dumb down for this version on the 3DS, which of course was one of the first few games that took advantage of the new 3DS moniker and its CPU, because I've seen footage of it running on regular 3DS hardware, and it looks like, well, not looks like garbage, but runs like
It's
garbage.
exclusive. No,
Yep.
you did not see that. It's only on new 3DS.
Oh, no. I know it. I agree with you on that. No,
Uh,
I
Oh, you
hackers.
say it was modded?
say it was modded. Somebody actually
Oh,
tried that out, and
My apologies. Okay.
Yeah, it's like, I swear it's like 15 frames per second. But getting to my point, what I didn't like, it does feel a little bit cramped with everything on the user interface. I feel like if I'd had a bigger screen on there, and yes, on the Wii, which I did have, it just to me that's what it got really hard for me to like. Okay, what is this ability here? But again, my favorite. I really enjoyed it.
All right. Well, it brings it to me, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Number 4. A little game.
Another little game.
Nah,
Little
it's not
game.
another little game. Let's forget I said little. It's not a little game. It's
Huge.
It's actually quite a big game, yeah. This is a strange one because in terms of just like if you took like the quality of the game, I'm not sure it would be here, but it's the sum of its parts sort of thing.
Okay.
Either way, number
You're
4.
not selling this game very well.
The suspicion is, or the
Well, I
what's the
think
word?
once I've got to the end of the title, things will become a little bit more clear, at least from my list. Hashtag my list.
Suspense.
Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright.
Okay.
My number 4 game on the 3DS, which might seem absurd, as I was thinking myself as putting this together. I mentioned in the show, I recently started replaying this, which reinforced this. For me, this is kind of one of those dream projects. Like, and it worked. It not just like, oh yeah, it'd be cool to see those two sets of characters interacting with each other because they, the gameplay styles, you kind of get into the same sort of frame of mind to play Professor Layton as Phoenix Wright for me. But in terms of the scenario they dream up around like the witch trials and the actual Layton having to work out the actual mystery of this labyrinthian place, it's actually really well done, I think, especially like playing it a second time, which I wouldn't necessarily recommend to a lot of people because it's a big game in its own right.
The one Layton game, or the one Phoenix Wright game that I played, which I liked, but I could not go through that again for how much time I put into it.
Oh yeah, and this is bigger than any of the Layton games and any of the Phoenix games. It's almost like literally 2 of them stuck together. I don't think it's quite that big.
That's too much game.
I think it's like 1.5 of one of those games. But in terms of like the production value, they like nail the characters. They somehow work together. For me, it hits a lot of like just not only nostalgic vibes, but in terms of like this is actually a really good story for these like sets of characters to get involved in together. And normally for like these sort of collaborations, I feel it's a lot more flat, and they'll just have this sort of very unimaginative, very predictable story. And this is nothing, nothing but. So yeah, that's.
I enjoyed the story in that game. That's actually, I kind of by the end, I think I was using like hint coins or whatever it is that kind of allows you to just go through without doing any work.
Yeah,
I was
it's
doing
good.
what I
You can use
could,
them for the
but,
trials, can't you? Which
yeah,
from Layton's games.
Yeah, so I was just kind of trying to get through the story by the end there and not doing a whole lot of work on my own, but that's how much I was enjoying the story. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it's funny because it gets so layered and it gets so thick in the story by the end of it. It's fun going back to the very beginning and like seeing how it starts to set things up. Yeah, it is very
knowing
well
like what's actually going to happen.
Exactly, yeah, and like the way like Layton, like he does the sort of like he'll suggest things. Oh, like I wonder if it's worth speaking to this, or it could be about this sort of thing. And like, oh yeah, he somehow knows all from the get go. But that's his character. But yeah, that's my number 4.
That's pretty high up.
It's pretty high up, but we still have 3 more to go. 3 top it. Could be still some crazy things. What do we have for you, Holly, at number 3?
Okay, it's funny we were talking about the story of Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright, because I actually love the storyline in my number 3 as well as the gameplay, and that is Fire Emblem Fates Birthright, actually. I know a lot of people preferred Conquest, but funny enough, I mean, everyone's all like, oh, Conquest is so much better because, the maps actually have quirks to them and things that keep them interesting. There were only a small handful of those maps in Conquest, so in my opinion, Birthright isn't any worse than Conquest, and I actually prefer Birthright due to the story. I actually kind of liked the more straightforward, I suppose, story. But the cool thing about the story in like all of these Fire Emblem games is, especially when you play them all the fights games, it shows you like the consequences of your choices. It shows the things that change in a big way. It shows things that might not change a whole lot depending on the choice that you make. And so I thought the storylines were awesome that way. And the gameplay, the reason that I like Fire Emblem Fates over Awakening, which, you know, Awakening is such an important game, but I do prefer the gameplay in Fates because it doesn't encourage grinding or repetition of strategies. Like in Awakening, my biggest thing that, like, everyone takes this for granted with Fates, but in Awakening, you can pair people up or pair characters up, and they will, like, the paired character will defend or do an attack, and it's just kind of based on chance. Mm-hmm. Whereas in the Fates games, you can pair them up, like, where they're next to each other, and that'll actually do something different compared to when they're actually paired on the same space. This is kind of complicated because that's how the strategy is. So you can, there's actually, I think, in my opinion, kind of an extra depth of strategy in Fates that Awakening doesn't have. So that's why Fates over Awakening, even though they're both amazing games.
Something we can agree on. So, Colin, number 3, please.
Number 3. My number 3 is Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds.
Woohoo!
Yeah, top 3.
Yay!
Great game, outstanding game. Actually, I enjoyed it more than A Link to the Past, which is, I think, kind of heresy to say, but I did. Yeah, it's a good game. It follows the pattern of A Link to the Past so closely, but it does change it, and it changes it in pretty interesting ways. I also think it uses quite good at the use of the 3D effect on the 3DS, especially when things bouncing up towards the screen. It's just a good game.
Okay. No good game.
Solid Zelda game.
Solid. Yeah.
Harrison, number 3.
My number 3 is Metroid: Samus Returns.
3. Wow.
Yeah, there's things with the I kind of it's the lexicon of like Metroid games. It's probably not my favorite, but one is my favorite 3DS games to me that I got a lot of time out of it. And of course, I said many times post in the podcast that I commend Mercury Steam for putting such a fantastic idea of translating this well onto the 3DS. Even though it's 2D Metroid, but at times I go back and forth whether the the parry mechanic, with like not the dodge, but what you essentially is one of the main mechanics of hurting or stunning enemies. I can understand that it can stop gameplay pretty easily, but to me, it's used pretty sparingly. I mean, I say sparingly, but enough to me where I don't mind it. I will say though, there's a certain boss in the game that I like in design and like near the end, but yeah, it does get frustrating. It is a very frustrating boss to me. And
I have to ask Harrison, please don't tell me that you got a Federation Force, so like 2 or 1.
No, but I would like no, but I dug Federation Force. Okay, I really dug that. I mean, I won't go back and play it because there's nobody online to play it right now. But playing with a group of friends, locally or online, it's fun. And you know what? I wouldn't mind a sequel on Switch. That's me. I'm saying that. I wouldn't mind that with online capabilities, a little bit of fresh coat of paint. I'd do it.
Sick man, Harrison.
Sick man. I'm just speaking the truth. I'm speaking the truth. Like I said,
speaking from the heart.
Speaking the truth bombs. # my list.
That's going to catch on.
So, yeah.
All right. Are we ready?
No.
Clearly not. However,
Colin.
my number 3, Kid Icarus Uprising.
Oh, really?
Really? Let me explain the ways.
His list.
It's a terrible game, though.
It's not a terrible game, though. That's the funny thing about Kid Icarus Uprising.
That's the funny thing about it.
The funny thing is fantastic. You just don't realise it yet because you've not had me to explain it to you. I'll ignore some of the obvious stuff. Hopefully it's obvious stuff, like it's very cinematic. The narrative stuff. It's good to go through those levels.
Yeah.
The controls that's
Don't
They
tell
take-
me you don't tell me you can just bypass the control issue, okay? Because like,
Well, no, it's
It's the game. The game is
it's a
designed around
matter
there. You have
of perspective. No, in all honesty, though, is when you get used to them, they fit the purpose. Like, it's not like for the sake of it. There is a advantage of using it. The problem is it can like cramp your hand essentially.
yeah, that's any game that causes pain to play doesn't make it
must be a very good game to keep playing. I
doesn't
agree.
make it into
So,
the top.
which brings me on.
Dark Souls causes a lot of people pain, but hey, they keep playing it right now.
So
That's what kind of pain.
who here? Did anyone here play the online multiplayer for Kid Icarus Uprising?
I did. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
a very fun mode. And like everything I feel about Kid Icarus Uprising had this nice, satisfying loop, like almost a loop type system to it. Like you do one thing in one mode, and it would benefit something else. And like even with like the street pass and everything else, the way you could craft weapons, there was a lot of depth in these systems. And I remember I poured a load of time into it. It felt like it was original, had its own identity. And yeah, it was you could tell it was like Sakurai on the director's seat going, all right, let's make a new thing. And I really dug it. It was very cool. And I would love to see more in that vein.
I would too.
I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed.
You shouldn't be.
Jeez. You should be because you lack taste.
There's a lot to love in that game. However, there's still more surprising things to come even. Anyway, let's get to our number twos.
Can I first ask Colin to take his headphones off?
Yes, you may.
Why?
Because my number two is
Oh.
Kid Icarus Uprising.
Oh, let's go on. Go on.
Oh man, I love that game, man. I thought the controls, they are, I don't remember having a huge problem with them. I mean, there's a learning curve there, but I don't remember getting hand cramps. I just remember
you need to be
thinking,
a highly
"This is
skillful
so
gamer,
fun."
I feel, to get the most out of them, don't you?
Yeah. I guess Colin just doesn't have it. Did you really have your headphones off for that? Did you miss
I
everything?
took
that
them
just
off
said?
for a brief second, yes.
Oh yeah. I
And
just
Colin-
love it.
If you haven't caught on by now, yes, we are talking about Detective Pikachu.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, in joke.
Oh.
But yeah, anything you can add to the Kid Icarus
Number
conversation,
two.
or
Well, I don't know. Like I say, everyone kind of bashes the control scheme and everything like that. But like I say, I didn't have a problem. And on the contrary, I actually thought it was kind of a breath of fresh air to have a different kind of control scheme like that. I love Colin's face right now.
It's a breath of fresh air to have a game called Pain and Misery to play it.
Well, for everyone,
10 out of
I
10.
guess. So, because yeah, like I say, I didn't have too much of a problem with it, and the controls to me were one of the best parts about it because they were just different, new and exciting and different.
and it
When
came with
they-
this nifty stand as well.
I was going to bring
It's
that up.
great value
Lewis.
for money.
When they release a stand so you can play it better,
Yeah.
is that not an issue?
The way I look at it is like, oh, I see that chunky box to go, oh yeah, that must be a good, valuable game there. Like it's got a special box to it.
It's like a
It's got
special
more-
edition.
Yeah, you got more room for the art, the gorgeous art of the game to shine through.
Like here,
It
have,
That's
a,
what I
is
feel.
gorgeous.
have a
Oh,
chunk
these-
of plastic to help you play the game.
I even had like they made a
I only
series
used it
of
like
like
once.
I think of collectible cards. I can't remember who sold them. And on a binder, and I still got it. I'm pretty sure. And I got quite a few of them. Like, but yeah, it was like crazy.
I tried collecting a lot of those too, but they didn't just sell them. Not here anyway. So
I can't remember where I was getting them from. I think they were you could use your points, your like Club Nintendo points or something in Europe at least to buy booster packs. And I think I spent all my points on doing that.
we didn't get those. I'm pretty proud of my collection, considering how difficult they were to come by here.
Colin, you need to make a noise so we can see that face.
Mm.
All
It was just different, and I love that experimental aspect of Kid Icarus Uprising. Just
And it
something
was
different.
so good. Like years later, we still want to have a sequel.
To me, it worked out. It worked.
Game you can go back to. Anyway, Harrison.
Now,
And Colin?
Yeah, it's not me. Am I being skipped over?
Oh no, go on.
I'm thinking about you, Colin.
Oh,
Sorry, I didn't
sorry.
change my number 2 last minute
No,
to.
it's all good. So my number 2, Detective Pikachu. No, my number 2 is Fantasy Life.
wow.
What a glorious
Really?
game. Fantasy Life's an amazing game. Level 5 RPG. Really well made. Really fleshed out. I just love the aspect of having a job and then utilizing that job in this action RPG. It was so clever in the way they integrate the systems.
There were little mini games,
There
like
were?
for each job that you did, like a
Yeah.
little mini game that kind of kept grind. Like there wasn't any real grinding in that game
No.
because it was mini games that
And
you were
the-
playing.
like-
It always kept it fresh.
It's like the really cool thing is that the jobs stacked on top of each other. So like you need new armor. It's like, okay, I'll become a seamstress so I can make new clothing, or I need a new weapon. I'll become a blacksmith so I can make a new sword. Really cool little things like that. So
Very enjoyable game. Yeah.
very good game. Very good game. And the multiplayer was pretty cool too.
Oh, I didn't even try that part.
Yeah, it's outstanding.
Okay, and now Harrison.
Okay. So between my 1 and 2, I had these flipped. The one I'm about to say was originally going to be my number 1, but in the last minute I realized I'm placing this
If
number
it's Kid
2.
Icarus, I'm walking out.
I said Kid Icarus at my honorable. I said Kid Icarus at my honorable mention, so it's not going to be on there.
True.
Yes, I remember that.
You
No.
all said Kid Icarus? My God.
And just salt everywhere.
What's
But anyway.
wrong
How
with
about I
you
send
people?
some ice cream in the mail, Colin? Will that make you happier?
No, wait, where's my ice? No, send me ice cream. I want some good ice. I'll send you some.
The whole
I'll send
box would just be a soggy mess.
It would
No,
be-
I'll send anybody Ted Drew's from St. Louis. It's great custard to acquire taste. But anyway, number 2 is Fire Emblem Awakening. Now, I enjoyed the improvements of what Fates did, but here's the thing: this was Awakening was my first Fire Emblem game that I played since Fire Emblem on the Game Boy Advance, and since then I never really got back in the series. Yeah, I never did get back in the series until then. And of course, as everybody knows, behind the scenes, Fire Emblem Awakening has been credited as being essentially that game of saving the series. And now it just seems like we go every year with a new Fire Emblem game. It seems we just can't hold all the Fire Emblem. But I like the story's game. I love the game's story in this one as opposed to Fates, mostly because I feel like Fates. I mean, there's things I like about it and different characters inside as much as I like it, even though it's. But I know I'm losing my track of mind.
I don't know if you feel this way, but in Awakening, I thought that the storyline that involved the kids like coming from the future to the past, that was definitely better than how they implemented kids in Fates.
Yeah,
for sure.
that felt a little bit shoehorned in. It's like they took essentially that portion of the game that everybody really liked and were like, oh, how can we add this in here? Like, well, here's this other land that they come from, and it's like, oh, just not.
They
this
go
time.
there and they just age really fast, don't they?
Yes, I think so.
And then stop
Very
at the
weird.
appropriate time.
Yeah, it does.
Be most efficient.
But my final thing I'll say in this one, though, is that I just adored it so much to me. How it, when they were putting this game together, I mean, for anybody who's been out of the loop, it seemed like for Fire Emblem, this almost, or anybody who's been playing Fire Emblem to that point, it feels like a Fire Emblem like greatest hits. As in, they took all the best things of each games and they compiled it all into one thing, and it just all for the better. It revived the series, and to me, it revived my interest in it. And I'm glad to see to this day that Fire Emblem is probably is easily one of Nintendo's most prized and prominent IPs right now.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Number 2, that is mine.
All right. Moving on to me, and I'll keep this one brief. It's been mentioned a few times here in various ways. And just as a bit of visual evidence. Then one is Fire Emblem Fates as the actual title. Because that's what it is when I download it. But yeah, I don't feel I need to say much more than that. It's been discussed a lot here. But if you like Fire Emblem, there's a lot of it in Fates, and there's a lot of good stuff of it.
There's a lot of it.
There's a lot of it. A lot of good stuff. There we go. That's all my years of Nintendo experience coming out there. Best they can.
Well, I'm proud to say that I own like this Fates Special Edition cartridge that includes all 3 paths.
Nice.
All in one cart. Like that's going to become sought after.
Oh, I'm sure it already is.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
and
proud of that.
Some extra goodies as well, doesn't it? And another nice little box as well.
Yeah. Special edition.
So we're finally on to each of our top 3DS game ever.
Ooh.
So
can anyone guess what mine is? Just guess.
It rhymes with it rhymes with Hilda. Whatever, never mind. Go. I'm not paying. What is it, Holly?
Detective Pikachu. No, I'm kidding. It is The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. That game is just.
Walk out right now.
I'm going to piggyback off you because that is also my. I'm going to piggyback off you because that is also my number 1 game.
That game is so polished. Like, there are puzzles and just, I don't know, dungeons in that game that are just so polished and so satisfying to solve and to go through. And it's just one of the most polished Zelda games that there are.
Absolutely.
I mean, and also to me, you saw the seeds of the fact that like the Zelda series needing like its formula needing to change. I mean, of course, it started out with like the renting items, which to me I was a little worrisome going into, but to me was like I was perfectly fine with. But also in the fact of tackling dungeons in any order. Now, and this is a game I would really like to see in the same vein, like top-down, like an asymmetrical view or a top-down view in a different in a different area, because I felt it was very nice for me to actually see, a very familiar Hyrule that we grew up with like in, A Link to the Past. And to this one, it even has a decent story for Zelda. And to me, near an end where I'm like, call me dumb, I was like, oh, so that's who that person is exactly. Okay, and to me, that's where it got to it. But also, it runs at smooth 60 frames per second. Music's fantastic.
Yep.
And it's a refined 2D Zelda experience.
Yep.
Well, 3D-ish, but yeah, you get what I mean.
Well, I didn't really grow up playing A Link to the Past, honestly. I only recently committed some time to playing that game seriously. And I'm in my 20s, so I don't have any of that nostalgia to go on, but I love A Link Between Worlds.
All right, well, we've gone. I guess we still have a Colin.
We do. I'm gonna. Anyone want to take a stab at what my number 1 game is?
It's Monster Hunter something.
Shin Megami Tensei, one of those games.
No.
I mean, no. Actually, I'm surprised I didn't have that in my honorable mention.
Is it one someone's already mentioned?
Perhaps. So, okay, it is Monster Hunter. Obviously, it was going Monster Hunter. Now, I was divided between Generations and 4 Ultimate, and I went with 4 Ultimate because, purely on the scale of content, I spent over 2,000 hours in Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. So, that alone, I feel like warrants it being my top 3DS game.
Not this argument again.
No, well...
Top number of hours played.
Yeah, pretty much.
Default number 1 game.
But I enjoyed every single second of every single minute of every single hour I put into that game. So, yes, it is the 4 Ultimate. It was going to be Generations. I was very close to putting Generations number 1, but Generation lacks a lot of the content that's coming in Generation Ultimate.
Yeah.
So, look forward to that being my best Switch game ever. Yes, so there you go.
They'll make a new Monster Hunter from the ground up for Switch.
I hope so.
I'm just saying that because I really want it to happen.
That'd be cool. I'll be happy with that.
Would you be happy if they just in the same tradition as they were for the 3DS, just keep bolting things on, as it were?
Just keep bolting.
That's from my perspective of what's been happening with the since the PSP to where we got to on the 3DS.
Yeah, I would.
I reckon they might just continue that again now, but they'll just be Switch games.
That'd be cool. I'll be down with it.
All right. I guess it's up to me for my number one now.
Mm.
It's up to you to finish it all out.
Up to me. Save the day. The true number one.
Save the day.
Any guesses? Things I've not
Have you
mentioned?
said Fire Emblem Awakening yet?
No. Although I don't have any two of the same series on this list.
So
admittedly.
it's not that.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess.
Super Mario 3D World?
I mean, Land.
Guesses?
Land? Yeah, whatever.
Go say it. Wait, what is it?
It is Bravely Default.
Wow.
I'm not sure I've actually expressed how much I like this game on that extent. But like, when I first started playing the game, I really liked the graphic style. The music was great.
Yep.
The battle system, yeah, that's fantastic. It's like a real nice twist on a classic system with some modern niceties, and it's like actually brings new strategy. The only thing I wasn't too fond of, the story. It's a bit set in its ways. But then I realized up to a certain point, it's all deliberate. It was all a trap. It was meant to make you think that. So I think it's like, it is a game for the sort of person who kind of grew up with 2D RPGs and then has also played 3D RPGs. And without spoiling too much, I'm not going to say much at all. But basically at a certain point, the game story goes from tropey to being like it's intentionally like that was a trap. Like that was just a false like wall at the front of it. And then that gets you basically break that down. It's revealed what's actually behind there, which makes it a good story as well. But it kind of uses all of the 3DS's features in a bizarre way. Like it does stuff in sleep mode. Obviously, it does things with 3D. It does things with the gyroscope. It does things with AR cards. It does things with the front-facing camera and the microphone. Like certain bits, are just like these certain segments. Some of them are quite late on. You can summon your friends, which is really cool in battle. But yeah, like the story goes really weird places at the end, and I think it's fantastic, especially from where it starts. Let's get the crystal, and it's so obvious by that point. It's like, yeah, of course, it's meant to just make you go, oh yeah, it's a jolly. Remember Final Fantasy? Play one of those. But yeah, like it's going back to it though. Like that graphical style holds up on a 3DS screen. I think that's going to be like timeless. In that sense.
Absolutely.
And especially in 3D, which I think helps with this number one spot. Like playing this game in 3D, I think is the ideal way to play it for sure. Like those like village scenes, like you can really see that.
Like when it zooms out and you see the entire town, and when you start moving and it zooms in, like those scenes and specifically, yes, absolutely.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, and that battle system just so satisfying, and being able, and it is unique, and like you being able to bank up those moves and just use them all in a burst.
Yep.
And yeah, because of you can like mix and match which roles each of your characters do, and you can have an ability from another one at the same time.
Yep.
You can get really creative with it. You can essentially kind of just play it as you want. And if you kind of hit a brick wall, you can kind of come up with creative ideas. You don't have to like, go online, find out the way to do this sort of thing, find out the right setup.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a game where like my perspective changed in it like near the end sort of thing, and things just clicked into place. And wait, this all just fits, which is really cool. So yeah, that's why
your greatest 3DS RPG, well, greatest 3DS game in overall.
Yeah, I think like obviously you got to like RPGs and such.
Yeah.
But for a very particular like set of like likes and dislikes, it uses all the features and uses them all very well to create something of a big scale. Because often you get like these showpieces and they're things like Wii Sports. You go, yeah, it shows you everything what the system does, but it's like this little novelty.
Yeah,
as fun as it is. But yeah, this is like a different take on that. It's a game which, unfortunately, I feel will kind of live and die on the 3DS. Like, I don't think we'll ever see a proper port of that unless it's, it has to be changed quite drastically.
Yeah,
it doesn't look like the face of it, but some bits, would use things on the 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my number one.
So, Colin and Lewis, have either of you played Bravely Second, and how does that compare? Also, how are you looking forward to Octopath Traveler?
Oh, yes, very, very much so. But I have not played Bravely Second.
Ooh.
So, yeah, the strange thing here is I've not either really, which is strange after this my position.
Yeah.
The thing is, when 2 came out, I wasn't really playing many games. I was in that sort of point, and I've just not returned oddly. But yeah, I will do. But yeah, it's one of those things. No, I'd not, despite how much I like the first. But in terms of Octopath Traveler, yes, I am very much looking forward to that.
All in on that game.
Play the demo, obviously. Yes. But yeah, that looks like another just interesting take. I kind of like how it's just not Bravely Default again.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they've also got some
Bravely Third.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm sure they've got some creative ideas, which then they're keeping close to their chest currently.
There we are.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
not a bad number 1.
That's our top 10 all round. I think we've got some good lists there.
Should we read them off again, or because
in a quick succession? Yeah, go on there. Let's do it in the same order as before, but just rattle off the names.
Yeah, not getting into it. Okay, well, my top 10 3DS games, I'm not going to mention the honorable mentions. They are number 10, Kingdom Hearts 3D. Number 9, Pushmo. Number 8, Rhythm Heaven Megamix. Number 7, Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. Number 6, Kirby Planet Robobot. Number 5, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. Number 4, Super Smash Bros. Number 3, Fire Emblem Fates Birthright. Number 2, Best Game Ever, Kid Icarus Uprising. Number 1, The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds.
Best game ever.
What was that, Colin?
Nothing. I said nothing.
No, Colin was just about to do his top 10.
Yes, I was. So number 10 for me is Ever Oasis. Number 9, Super Mario 3D Land. Number 8, Monster Hunter Stories. Great game. 7, Final Fantasy Explorers. 6, Bravely Default. 5, Etrian Odyssey 4. 4, Fire Emblem Awakening. 3, Legend of Zelda: Between Worlds. 2, Fantasy Life. And 1, the greatest game ever made, Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate.
And Harrison.
Yes, mine. Kid Icarus is not on my list, but it's my honorable mention. Number 10 is Pocket Card Jockey. Number 9, Super Smash Bros. For Nintendo 3DS. Number 8, Box Boy, but I demand all of them. Number 7, Fire Emblem Fates. Number 6, Majora's Mask 3D. Number 5, Super Mario 3D Land. Number 4, Xenoblade Chronicles 3D. Number 3, Metroid Samus Returns. Number 2, Fire Emblem Awakening. And number 1, The Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds.
Okay, and then for myself, number 10, Majora's Mask 3D. Number 9, Super Smash Bros. Number 8, Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate. Number 7, Pokemon Moon. Number 6, Animal Crossing New Leaf. Number 5, Rhythm Paradise Mega Mix. Number 4, Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright. Number 3, Kid Icarus Uprising. Number 2, Fire Emblem Fates. And number 1, Bravely Default.
Solid lists, everybody.
Yeah, solid
I like them.
rounds.
Yeah.
I'm interested. No, that's good that we actually did separate lists as opposed to just fighting over, what would be our number one, our essentially a consensus top 10 list, because
It'll be
We'll be going for one.
I would be battling to have Kid Icarus burned from the list, but
Yeah, that would be quite the challenge to. Yeah.
Blot it out.
Agree that, and in the order as well, and I think there would be a lot more honourable mentions at that point.
Like 30, yeah.
Yeah, that seems to work. However, this has been our top 10 3DS feature. Let us know if you've got any particular strong opinions on your own top 10. You can send them to, link I've not used in a while, hello@nintendovoice.com. And also, if you enjoy the show, if you would like to support us, please do check out our Patreon over at patreon.com/NintendoVoice. If you support us for $1 a month or more, you can suggest a super topic, which essentially is a feature of your choice on the podcast. All you need to do is go over to the latest post and add a comment of what you would like to see or hear from us. However, as it has got to the end of the show, we will do the thing which we do once a week, which is we'll let you know how you can get hold of us and anything else we've been up to that we'd like you to know about. although you're our special guest, Holly, I'll let you go last just so you get the rhythm of things and you can think about anything further you would like to plug.
Sure.
Harrison.
Yes.
Why did you go first?
I will gladly. You can find me on Twitter at @hmilfeld, and if you want to be my friend on Switch, you'll find my friend code pinned to the top of my profile. And if you want to catch me on anything else, you can catch my writings over and reviews over at purenintendo.com. And of course, in about a few weeks, 3 weeks actually from today, I'll be in Los Angeles for E3.
Ooh.
So, gearing up for that now.
That'd be an interesting experience. Yeah, so for me, you can find me on Twitter at HighlyandBard, which is probably how you think it's spelled. My friend code's also pinned to the top of my profile. That's about it from me. Nothing else to announce as of yet.
Oh, fair enough. Okay, and how about yourself, Holly? How can people get hold of you?
You can follow me. My personal Twitter is Lil Red Koopa, so Lil Red Koopa. That's me on Twitter. I will also be revitalizing, I suppose, not redoing. Reintroducing the Nintendo Fever podcast, which is something that I did with my good friend Matt Desend for a couple years there. We're getting back into that again, doing some live shows just once a month to start out. So that should be fun. I guess this show is technically live. So we are doing our first live show on the 23rd. So that's tomorrow, as it is for me right now, time-wise. Tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. Mountain Time. Of course, we'll have an on-demand version of our first re-debut that will become available. So look for that. Also, I mean, I don't know if I'm going to be personally tweeting all the details of our podcast, so definitely follow at Nintendo Fever on Twitter as well. If you want to be Switch friends with me, you may have to dig through some of my photos that I've posted on Twitter because I don't have mine pinned, but maybe I'll do that soon. So just keep your eyes open.
Awesome. For myself, if you want to get hold of me, either Twitter, well, basically Twitter is what you want. The name you want is Leuvsion, Leuvsion. That's going to do it for me. So I just want to say thank you very much again. Well, thank you, Holly, for joining us once again. It's been
Thanks for inviting me.
It's been good to have you on another.
Yeah.
I feel we were doing something similar last time we were podcasting.
Yeah, it felt like a miss. To me, it's like, yeah, we need to get her back on here, especially, or in some capacity. And even at some point, we're just like, let's get her back on here full time. And it's like, oh wow, new thing. Just like, you know what, do your thing, and that's all you gotta say.
We'll see. I'm gonna get back into the mix, so we'll see how things go with my podcasting career from here.
Exciting times indeed. Do check that out. But for now, that is the end of this show. So thanks all for watching and for listening. And this has been Nintendo Voice.
See you all around.
Take care, everyone.